On January 23, 1960, two men, Jacques Picard and Don Walsh, made history by descending to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in the bathyscaphe, Trieste. This was a moment when humanity took a giant leap into the abyss, into a realm where light does not penetrate and life seems impossible. The cabin of the bathyscaphe, made of a steel alloy, was incredibly cramped. The space occupied by the researchers was smaller than that of a typical room. The water temperature around them reached several degrees above zero, and the pressure was enormous, over 8,000 atmospheres. Each of them felt the cold seeping into their bones, even through their thick suits. Inside, there was a tense silence, broken only by the sounds of the equipment working at its limits. Beyond the porthole stretched the silence of absolute darkness, and the only source of light was a small projector illuminating the mysterious forms of the ocean floor. Every meter of descent stirred both excitement and fear, for they were leaving the familiar world and venturing into the unknown. The crew understood that at such depths, they were alone, far from civilization and rescue services. Their goal was not only to explore but also to prove that life could exist even in the most extreme conditions. Time passed, and when Trieste reached the record depth of 11,000 meters, Picard and Walsh encountered the reality that many generations of scientists had dreamed of. Surrounding them was darkness, but it was this darkness that had countless mysteries they were about to unravel. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, they not only witnessed the extraordinary but also forever changed what it means to be an explorer. Amid the cold waters, they saw unusual creatures that seemed to have been created by the ocean itself. The Mariana Trench is the deepest place on Earth, located in the western part of the Pacific Ocean, east of the Mariana Islands. Its maximum depth is approximately 10,900 meters, making it a true abyss where even the most daring researchers have hesitated to venture for a long time. The trench was discovered in 1850 during a scientific expedition of the British ship Challenger, when scientists first measured its depth using sound waves. Since then, the Mariana Trench has been the subject of numerous studies, attracting the attention of both scientists and the general public. Here, pressure reaches incredible levels, around 1,600 times greater than atmospheric pressure at the surface, creating conditions that are beyond human endurance. The temperature of the water in the deepest points oscillates around 0 degrees Celsius, making it truly harsh and inhospitable to life. Nevertheless, despite these extreme conditions, the Mariana Trench is home to remarkable organisms adapted to such conditions, which seem impossible to exist. The trench is a fortress of nature, hidden from human eyes and full of mysteries yet to be unraveled. In recent decades, technology has allowed us to explore its depths, and in 2011, an expedition was launched using the submersible deep-sea Challenger, which for the first time descended to the bottom of the trench and collected important data on its ecosystem. Scientific research indicates that we have explored only about 20% of the world ocean, while we know significantly more about the surface of the moon. For instance, data from NASA confirms that we have detailed maps covering approximately 100% of its surface. This highlights a paradox. Despite our achievements in space technology, the depths of the oceans remain a mystery to us. Research shows that 90% of the oceans remain unexplored, which causes serious concern among scientists who assert that we do not even know about the majority of oceanic species and ecosystems. While we can send robots to Mars and collect samples from other planets, our own seas and oceans remain largely unknown. For example, in 2020 alone, more than 7,000 new marine flora and fauna species were discovered through rare expeditions. These figures suggest that even with modern technologies, the exploration of the oceans is slow and arduous. Oceanologists argue that full mapping of the oceans may take decades, if not centuries, which challenges our understanding of our planet. Given the threat of global climate change to marine ecosystems, such ignorance could have serious consequences. Deep-sea ecosystems are unique worlds where life has adapted to extreme conditions. At depths where pressure exceeds hundreds of atmospheres and water temperature approaches zero, organisms have evolved remarkable survival mechanisms. The absence of light makes photosynthesis impossible, leading to the development of alternative energy sources such as chemosynthesis, where organisms use chemical reactions to obtain energy. In these conditions, life forms often take on bizarre and alien-like shapes, resembling extraterrestrial creatures. Some possess bioluminescent properties, allowing them to attract prey or communicate with conspecifics in the utter darkness. Deep-sea inhabitants also exhibit an astonishing ability to regenerate and alter their metabolism depending on available resources. These adaptation mechanisms are crucial in the nutrient-limited conditions characteristic of deep-sea regions, where food can be scarce. In this underwater world, where endless darkness and cold reign, life continues to amaze with its resilience and diversity of forms that seem entirely foreign to familiar ecosystems. Studies of these ecosystems open new horizons for understanding the biology of life on our planet and beyond, raising questions about the possible existence of similar life forms on other planets. Deep-sea ecosystems also serve as indicators of changes in the oceanic environment, as their health and biodiversity are directly dependent on the state of the water masses. Anglerfish are a striking example of ecological adaptations that have occurred in absolute darkness. These fish, which inhabit depths greater than 1,000 meters, have evolved a unique bioluminescent lure, a glowing appendage on their head. This lure attracts prey in conditions where there is virtually no light, allowing anglerfish to hunt small fish and crustaceans. Their enormous mouth, capable of opening to an impressive angle, allows them to capture prey that often exceeds their own size. This is due to the peculiarities of their digestive system, which can process large chunks of food, a vital mechanism for survival in the low food conditions of the deep. Additionally, there is a striking dimorphism between males and females. Males are usually significantly smaller and often attached to females, forming symbiotic relationships. As a result of this interaction, males lose the ability to live independently, while females become the primary hunters. Anglerfish demonstrate how organisms can adapt to the most extreme conditions while retaining their unique characteristics. In the depths of the ocean, where darkness reigns, these fish continue to evolve, and each of their features is the result of millions of years of struggle for survival. Giant squids have become a symbol of the mysterious depths of the ocean, evoking both fear and awe in people for centuries. The first references to them can be traced back to ancient Greek myths, where they were depicted as sea monsters capable of attacking ships. Over the centuries, these legends grew stronger until the 18th century, when the first real evidence of encounters with giant squids began to appear. However, scientific recognition of these creatures did not begin until the 19th century, when sailors started finding their remains on the shore. The study of giant squids became a true puzzle for scientists. Their complex life cycles and habits made them difficult to observe. In the 20th century, the first attempts were made to study them in their natural habitat, but it was not until 2012 that a Japanese research team was able to film a giant squid, causing a sensation in the scientific community. This discovery confirmed that these enigmatic creatures not only exist, but also lead an active life at depths of over 1,000 meters. The ability of giant squids to camouflage and their unique behavioral characteristics continue to be the subject of research, attracting the attention of both scientists and enthusiasts of marine mysteries. As a result, such squids have become not only the subject of scientific research, but also a cultural symbol, representing a mystery that humanity is just beginning to unravel. Hydrothermal sources, known as black smokers, are submarine volcanic formations that eject hot water rich in minerals and chemicals. These sources form at the boundaries of tectonic plates, where the oceanic crust breaks apart, allowing magma to rise closer to the surface. The temperature of the water emerging from these sources can reach over 300 degrees Celsius, creating unique conditions for life. As the water passes through heated rocks, it becomes saturated with dissolved minerals, such as hydrogen sulfide, which serves as the primary energy source for ecosystems far from sunlight. Here, organisms like blackworms, tube worms, and various types of mollusks thrive, using chemosynthesis to convert chemical compounds into organic matter, which forms the basis of the food chain in these underwater oases. Around black smokers, rich ecosystems develop where life flourishes in conditions that would be lethal for most known organisms. These discoveries significantly broaden our understanding of the possible forms of life on other planets, especially in environments similar to those found on Jupiter's and Saturn's moons, such as Europa and Enceladus. Scientists are actively studying how life can adapt to extreme conditions, which opens new horizons in the search for extraterrestrial life and the understanding of Earth's biosphere. In such conditions, as found at hydrothermal sources, life demonstrates remarkable resilience and adaptability, which astonishes scientists and challenges many existing theories about life in the cosmos. Deep ocean currents are invisible rivers that flow through the depths of the oceans, transporting colossal masses of water over vast distances. These currents act like enormous conveyors, regulating the Earth's thermal balance and playing a crucial role in the distribution of temperature across the planet. They carry warm water from the tropics to polar regions and cold water back towards the equator. This movement is not just a natural phenomenon. It influences global climate, shaping weather patterns and altering ecosystems worldwide. For instance, when warm waters rise to the surface, they contribute to cloud formation and precipitation, while cold currents can cause droughts and negatively impact agriculture. These processes occur slowly, and although they are difficult to observe directly, their effects are tangible and real. In conjunction with other climatic factors, deep ocean currents create conditions that can either foster or threaten life on the planet. They also have significance for marine biology, influencing the migration of fish and other species that depend on specific temperature regimes. As with hydrothermal vents, the complexity of the interaction between currents and climate requires continuous study by scientists to understand how these hidden rivers continue to shape our planet. Recent research indicates that changes in these currents may be linked to global warming, further emphasizing their importance in understanding climate change. Studies show that even small changes in temperature or salinity can lead to significant alterations in the movement of these deep-sea flows. The Gulf Stream is one of the most powerful and well-known ocean currents, playing a crucial role in the climate of Europe. It begins in the Gulf of Mexico, where warm waters rise to the surface and flow northeastward, crossing the Atlantic Ocean. The average temperature of the Gulf Stream is around 22 degrees Celsius, significantly higher than the surrounding water temperature. The speed of the current varies from 2 to 5 knots, which is equivalent to approximately 3.5 to 10 kilometers per hour. The Gulf Stream transports enormous volumes of water, around 30 million cubic meters per second, comparable to the combined flow of all rivers on Earth. This current not only warms the coasts of Western Europe, but also influences the weather in countries such as the United Kingdom and Norway. There are historical theories suggesting that the Gulf Stream could weaken or change its direction due to climate change. For example, in the early 12th century, changes in its behavior were observed, leading to a sharp cooling in Europe, known as the Little Ice Age. Modern research warns that global warming could cause further changes in the Gulf Stream, possibly even its complete cessation, which would have catastrophic effects on the continent's climate. Scientists continue to study this issue, using data from satellite observations and oceanographic models to understand how changes in ocean temperature and atmospheric conditions can affect this vital current. In the 20th century, some signs of the Gulf Stream's weakening were observed, which is confirmed by data on the reduction of its strength and changes in the temperature gradient. One of the most discussed hypotheses is the possibility of the impact of the melting of Greenland's ice on its stability, as fresh water entering the ocean can disrupt the salinity and density required for the normal functioning of the current. The deep water current of the Southern Ocean, surrounding Antarctica, plays a crucial role in the global water circulation system. Known as the Antarctic Circumpolar Current, this current is formed due to temperature and salinity differences, creating a powerful flow that encompasses the entire continent. It connects waters from all oceans and facilitates the mixing of different water masses, ensuring equilibrium in the global climate system. This current also acts as a pump, absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and helping to regulate its concentration. Studies show that the Antarctic Circumpolar Current can absorb up to 30% of the carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere. However, considering global warming and the melting of glaciers in Antarctica, the situation may change. Rising water temperatures and increased freshwater input can disrupt the thermal balance and salinity, which in turn can affect the strength and stability of this current. A decrease in its power could lead to an increase in atmospheric carbon dioxide levels, accelerating climate change and having a negative impact on ecosystems in both oceans and on land. For instance, changes in the current could affect the migration of marine species and their hunting, impacting both ecosystems and fisheries. The complex interconnection between the deepwater current and climate requires further research to understand all possible consequences. Consequently, scientists continue to study how changes in the Southern Ocean may affect the global climate system and what measures can be taken to minimize the negative impact on the environment. In recent years, there has also been growing interest in how this current influences the ice cover of Antarctica, as its changes could accelerate the melting of glaciers, which in turn could lead to a rise in sea levels. The Bermuda Triangle is a geographical region known for its high rate of ship and aircraft disappearances. This area is located between Florida, the Bahamas, and Puerto Rico, covering a vast expanse of several million square kilometers. According to various estimates, over 1,000 mysterious disappearances have been recorded here, lending the place an aura of mystery in the supernatural. Many researchers and travelers have noted unusual phenomena in the Bermuda Triangle, including strange magnetic anomalies and sudden storms, which could be the cause of these disappearances. Scientists and enthusiasts of the paranormal interpret these events in different ways. Some attribute them to natural factors such as complex weather conditions or unique marine topography, while others link them to myths and legends about lost civilizations or even extraterrestrial interference. Nevertheless, despite numerous investigations, the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle remains unsolved, attracting the attention of both scientists and adventurers eager to unravel the secrets of this enigmatic place. In December 1945, one of the most famous disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle occurred. 5 torpedo bombers from Squadron 19 vanished. These aircraft, part of a training mission by the U.S. Navy, took off from a Florida airbase for night flight practice. The weather was relatively normal that day, but soon strong storms began to form over the Atlantic. At 3:30 local time, pilot Lieutenant Charles Taylor made his last radio report, indicating navigation problems and that they had lost their way. The commander reported that they were running out of fuel and couldn't find their way back. Meanwhile, crews of other aircraft, meant to support Squadron 19, began to realize something was wrong. A search operation was launched almost immediately after the last signals were lost, involving dozens of ships and aircraft, including a Catalina search bomber, which also disappeared. Strange circumstances surrounded this tragedy. Participants in the search reported unclear visions, peculiar lights on the horizon, and even sounds that couldn't be explained. This disappearance was just one of many incidents that reinforced the reputation of the Bermuda Triangle as a mysterious and dangerous place where the laws of physics seemed to cease to apply. The search continued for several days but was unsuccessful, and it was eventually declared that Squadron 19 no longer existed. Around March 1918, the ship Cyclops disappeared in the waters of the Bermuda Triangle. At the time, it was one of the largest cargo ships in the U.S. Navy. The Cyclops was approximately 175 meters long and had a displacement of over 6,000 tons. On board were more than 300 people, including the crew and passengers. The last known coordinates of the ship were near the island of Barbados, where it was scheduled to make a stop. However, several days after setting sail, neither distress signals nor any reports about the ship's condition were received. This lack of communication caused serious concern, and search operations were launched, but they did not yield positive results. The disappearance of the Cyclops has given rise to numerous theories. Some researchers suggest that the ship may have been caught in a severe storm and sunk, while others propose that its fate could be linked to the sinking of a submarine or even the actions of extraterrestrials. There were also speculations about a mutiny on board or that the ship was a victim of some mysterious forces at work in the area. Notably, the very fact of the Cyclops' disappearance has become one of the most discussed mysteries in maritime history and has become part of the legends of the Bermuda Triangle, where not only ships, but also planes are known to disappear. Against this backdrop of mysterious events, it is worth noting that during the same period, other disappearances occurred in the area. further intensifying the intrigue surrounding the Bermuda Triangle and its unexplained phenomena. Scientific explanations for the Bermuda Triangle phenomenon range from methane emissions to magnetic field anomalies and unusual weather phenomena. One of the most discussed theories involves methane releases from deep-sea gas hydrates. Studies have shown that when these hydrates rupture, methane can rise to the surface, reducing water density and causing ships to sink. In particular, in 2006, a group of scientists discovered that the Bermuda Triangle area releases a massive amount of methane, which could lead to catastrophic consequences for ships and aircraft in the region. Another theory relates to magnetic field anomalies. This region indeed has registered magnetic field deviations that can confuse navigational instruments. For instance, a study conducted in 2005 showed that on some sections of the Bermuda Triangle, magnetic compasses can provide incorrect readings, leading to navigational errors. This can result in ships and aircraft finding themselves in dangerous situations. Furthermore, unusual weather phenomena, such as severe storms and tropical cyclones, can also play a role. They can form rapidly and unexpectedly, creating conditions in which even the most advanced ships and aircraft can find themselves in dire straits. Polar vortices, for example, can occur in this area, causing sudden weather changes. No less significant is the human factor. Inadequate crew actions, insufficient training, or simple navigation errors play a substantial role in incidents in this region. In 2013, numerous cases were recorded where pilots ignored weather warnings, leading to tragic outcomes. Therefore, each of these theories, despite their limitations and contradictions, offers scientific explanations for the mysterious disappearances and incidents in the Bermuda Triangle. Research continues, and perhaps in the future, we will gain a better understanding of what exactly happens in this enigmatic region. The sea devil, or dragon's hole, is one of the most mysterious oceanic phenomena mentioned in the maritime folklore of various cultures. It is a powerful whirlpool capable of pulling under not only small objects but also large ships, leaving behind only a mystery. Many legends and myths of sailors describe instances where ships disappeared into these whirlpools, as if swallowed by the abyss. Some peoples attributed this phenomenon to a spiritual significance, believing it to be connected to the wrath of sea gods or spirits of ancestors who guarded their waters from unwelcome visitors. For example, in some cultures, it is believed that whirlpools are created by spirits that wish to protect their domains, thus emphasizing the importance of respect for the sea and its mysteries. There are also versions that such whirlpools can arise due to natural phenomena, such as underwater earthquakes or collisions of currents, making their study not only a matter of mythology, but also of science. In this context, the sea devil becomes not just a folklore character, but a genuine object of study for oceanographers and researchers. A key aspect of this phenomenon is that it is not limited to one part of the world, but is found in various oceans, influencing the fate of sailors over centuries. For instance, in some cultures, whirlpools are described as doors to other worlds, further enhancing their mystical aura. A once-observed phenomenon like a whirlpool can transform into something much greater in people's consciousness, becoming part of their cultural identity. Consequently, the sea devil remains an unsolved mystery that continues to stir the imagination and attract the attention of scientists and adventurers. Ultimately, the power of nature expressed in such phenomena always evokes both fear and awe, making us ponder what other secrets the sea may hold. In some cases, such whirlpools have been observed to appear suddenly and without warning, adding to the already ominous reputation of these places. Maelstrom is one of the most famous whirlpools on the planet, located between the islands of the Lofoten archipelago in northwestern Norway. This natural phenomenon is formed as a result of complex interactions between tides and currents, making it particularly dangerous for sailors. The size of the maelstrom varies, but its diameter can reach up to 4 kilometers, and its depth sometimes exceeds 100 meters. The speed of the current in the whirlpool can reach up to 30 kilometers per hour, making it one of the fastest whirlpools in the world. The intensity of the maelstrom is significantly influenced by tides caused by the gravitational effects of the moon and the sun, leading to periodic increases in its strength and activity. This whirlpool has not only been the subject of scientific research, but has also inspired many writers and poets. Edgar Allan Poe described the maelstrom as a symbol of uncontrollable natural power in his poem, The Bitter Sea, while Jules Verne mentioned it as one of the dangers faced by sailors in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. These literary references highlight not only the physical danger, but also the mystical aura that has surrounded this whirlpool for centuries. The maelstrom attracts attention not only for its power, but also for its role in Norwegian cultural mythology, embodying the unpredictability of the sea. Naruto Whirlpool in Japan is one of the most impressive natural phenomena, forming in a narrow strait between the islands of Awaji and Shikoku. This whirlpool can reach a diameter of up to 30 meters and can create vortices with flow speeds of up to 25 kilometers per hour, depending on the time of year and lunar cycles. Particularly strong vortices are observed during high tides, when lunar phases contribute to significant changes in water levels. The Naruto Whirlpool is not just a natural phenomenon, but also an important part of Japanese culture. Local residents believe that the whirlpool possesses spiritual power, and there are even a number of myths associated with it. For instance, it is said that in ancient times, the whirlpool was the home of mythical creatures that could punish those who dared to cross its waters. In modern times, the whirlpool has become a popular tourist attraction, drawing thousands of visitors who want to see this spectacle firsthand. Special boats and tours are regularly sent here, allowing visitors to observe the vortices up close and even immerse themselves in their atmosphere. There are also observation decks that offer a breathtaking view of this extraordinary natural phenomenon, making it not only a subject of scientific research but also a significant element of Japanese tourism. The Saltstraumen in Norway is considered the world's most powerful tidal current. Its maximum speed can reach up to 34 kilometers per hour, making it a true hydrological marvel. The Saltstraumen is formed in a narrow strait between the island of Salt and the mainland of Norway, where water from the fjords accumulates and then suddenly bursts out, creating powerful currents. The strait is only 300 meters wide, which intensifies the effect of the tidal current. The water vortex changes direction twice a day, depending on the lunar cycles, creating unique conditions for the local ecosystem. The Saltstraumen attracts a vast number of fish, making it a significant location for fishing. Here one can catch cod, haddock, and salmon. These conditions contribute to biological diversity, as the powerful currents help distribute nutrients and oxygen in the water, supporting the life of numerous marine organisms. Local fishermen have long appreciated this place for its abundant catches and unique natural conditions. Sunken cities and civilizations present one of the most mysterious and intriguing topics in archaeology and history. These underwater settlements, once teeming with life and activity, are now hidden beneath layers of water, sometimes reaching depths of tens of meters. They captivate researchers' interest, as each discovery can reveal insights into the culture, technologies, and way of life of people who lived there hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Water, as a natural archive, preserves not only architectural elements but also artifacts that allow us to reconstruct scenes of everyday life. Imagine how underwater currents gently wrap around the columns of abandoned temples and streets where markets and festivals once took place. These submerged worlds, frozen in time, await discovery to shed light on unknown chapters of human history. Their study helps establish connections between different cultures and understand how they interacted. Meanwhile, submerged cities can tell not only of achievements but also of catastrophes that led to their disappearance. For instance, climate change, earthquakes, or even wars could have caused their submersion. Artifacts found in such places are usually in remarkable condition, making them particularly valuable for study. Each new discovery opens up additional horizons for scientists, allowing them to gather fragments of the overall picture of human historical development. At the same time, submerged cities raise many questions about our connection to the past and what has been lost forever. The depths of water do not merely conceal secrets inaccessible to us. They also hold the answer to how humanity coped with environmental changes and what lessons can be learned from it. Technologies used for construction, methods of subsistence, and social structures all can be discovered in these underwater archives. Investigating these places requires not only a scientific approach but also respect for cultural heritage, as each find is a piece of the life of those who lived thousands of years ago. Our ability to understand and interpret these finds depends on the technologies we use, such as underwater robots and complex scanning systems. Currently, scientists are working on projects that will allow us to explore and document these submerged worlds more deeply, uncovering their secrets. The submerged city of Pavlopetri off the coast of Greece is considered one of the oldest underwater cities in the world, with an age of around 5,000 years. It was discovered in 2008 near the southern coast of Peloponnese, and its layout remains remarkably well preserved. Archaeologists have studied the streets, which are clearly visible, as well as the remains of buildings, including residential houses and public structures, providing insight into what life was like in this city in ancient times. Various artifacts, such as pottery, tools, and even remnants of jewelry, have been found during excavations, indicating the high level of craftsmanship of its inhabitants. There are several theories about the causes of Pavlopetri's submersion. One of the most popular theories suggests that the city was destroyed by catastrophic earthquakes that may have triggered its flooding. Other scientists propose a gradual rise in sea level as a possible factor in the disappearance of this ancient settlement. The city lies at a depth of 1 to 4 meters, making it accessible for underwater research, and each new project reveals new details about its history and culture. In particular, researchers believe that Pavlopetri could have been a significant trade center connecting various regions of the Mediterranean. Yonaguni City, located off the coast of Japan, has sparked heated debates among scientists and researchers. It consists of structures that appear to be artificially created roads, steps, and platforms, but are located at depths of more than 8 meters. Proponents of the theory of human-made origin point to the presence of straight angles and clear lines, which they believe cannot be explained by natural processes. Some of them are convinced that these structures are remnants of an ancient civilization that existed long before known historical periods. They cite photographs showing stones laid out in terraces, reminiscent of architectural techniques used in other ancient cultures. In contrast, geologists argue that these structures could have formed due to natural erosion and tectonic processes. They refer to similar formations found in other parts of the world, where the shapes also appear artificial but were formed naturally. Specialists note that such formations can result from the action of waves and currents on soft rocks. Detailed examination of the seabed and analysis of rock samples have shown that the age of these structures can reach tens of thousands of years, casting doubt on their connection to any civilization. However, the question of whether Yonaguni is a human-made object or a natural anomaly remains open, and new research continues to push this debate in different directions. It is also worth noting that approximately 300 meters away from this underwater city, there are other underwater formations that also attract the interest of researchers. One of the most famous underwater cities is Heraklion, also known as Thonis, which sank off the coast of Egypt. Its discovery occurred at the beginning of the 12th year of the 21st century when French archaeologist Frank Gaudiot and his team of researchers began underwater excavations in the Nile Delta region. Heraklion was a significant port that played a crucial role in trade between Egypt and other Mediterranean cultures. Underwater, researchers found preserved monuments and temples, including statues of pharaohs and gods that once served as places of worship. One of the most impressive finds was the statues of Osiris and Isis, as well as massive columns adorned with hieroglyphs that describe religious rituals. Archaeologists also discovered sunken ships, including trading vessels, which confirm active maritime trade. The causes of the catastrophe that led to the submersion of Heraklion remain a subject of debate. One theory suggests that the city could have been destroyed by strong earthquakes that triggered underwater landslides and flooding. Another version proposes that changes in water levels due to natural processes could have caused the flooding. Regardless, Heraklion is a unique object of study as its findings provide insights into life in ancient Egypt, trade routes, and the culture of the time. Research continues, and each new year brings new discoveries that can change our understanding of the history of this remarkable city. Sunken ruins of Dvarka are located off the coast of India and represent some of the most mysterious archaeological discoveries. These underwater structures, estimated to be around 9,000 years old, confirm the existence of a highly advanced civilization in this region long before the emergence of known historical cities. According to the Indian epic Mahabharata, Dwarka was the capital of King Krishna and was considered a symbol of prosperity and power. Archaeologists conducting research in this area have discovered extensive geometrically planned structures, including streets, houses, and even a water supply system, indicating the presence of a complex urban infrastructure. These findings significantly alter our understanding of the chronology of urban civilization development in India, as it was previously believed that such structures began to appear much later. Archaeological data show that the inhabitants of Dwarka employed advanced construction techniques, such as precise stone laying, suggesting a high level of engineering knowledge. This discovery also challenges traditional theories about the timing and development of early societies in South Asia. The seabed contains not only ruins but also artifacts such as pottery and tools that supplement the picture of life in Dwarka and testify to a rich culture and trade connections with other regions. These findings confirm that Dwarka is not just a myth but a real place that played a significant role in ancient Indian history. Archaeologists continue to study these underwater ruins, hoping to find new evidence that will help better understand not only Dwarka itself, but also the formation of civilization in India as a whole. Sunken ships serve as unique underwater museums of history, each one telling its own, often tragic story. These silent witnesses of the past, lying on the ocean floor, have been preserved in their original state due to the special conditions that prevail at great depths. The absence of light, low temperatures, and lack of oxygen slowed down the processes of decay and decomposition. Ships that once sailed the seas now act as temporary capsules, capturing moments of their era. Archaeologists and historians view these underwater artifacts as keys to understanding not only the technologies and materials used in their construction, but also the cultural, economic, and social aspects of the lives of those who created them. Each sunken ship can tell tales of trade routes, wars, migrations, and even disasters that have shaped history. For instance, ships carrying goods reveal trade connections between different regions, while warships can uncover the secrets of battles and strategies. The study of underwater ruins allows us to look back at a time when maritime routes were the arteries connecting distant lands. It is worth noting that many of these sunken vessels are located at significant depths, making them accessible only to experienced divers and researchers. However, modern technologies such as underwater drones and remotely operated vehicles greatly facilitate the study of these underwater treasures. For example, with the help of such tools, archaeologists can create three-dimensional models of sunken ships, enabling a deeper analysis of their construction and the artifacts that have survived. These studies not only enrich our understanding of maritime history, but also help us better understand humanity's interaction with the oceans, which have always been both a source of life and a place of danger. Thanks to such discoveries, we can see how technologies and cultures have changed over centuries, and how ships that have become part of the ocean floor continue to contribute to our understanding of history. For example, in some cases, archaeologists find not only the ships themselves but also their cargo, which can range from everyday items to valuable treasures, further enriching our knowledge of the time they existed. Sunken Titanic lies on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean at a depth of around 13,000 meters and serves as a unique object for study, although its condition is far from ideal. The ship's hull has been destroyed by the pressure of water and the action of bacteria that feed on iron, causing a phenomenon known as bacterial corrosion. This process leads to the gradual disintegration of the Titanic's structure, with some researchers suggesting that within a few decades, only its skeleton will remain. The ship was discovered in 1985 by Robert Ballard, who led an expedition using deep-sea submersibles. This discovery was a sensation and sparked numerous subsequent research efforts. Expeditions in the following years yielded many finds, including personal belongings of passengers, furniture fragments, and even engine parts that were brought to the surface for study. However, each new dive raises ethical questions. How should we treat this site, which has become a maritime memorial for more than 1,500 people who perished in the disaster? Some argue that the Titanic should be left undisturbed to decay naturally, while others insist on the need for its study and preservation of artifacts. These debates continue today, highlighting the complexity of humanity's interaction with history. In recent years, scientists have also been studying the impact of salt on the preservation of remains, as well as the effects of microorganisms that accelerate decomposition. Today, the state of the Titanic causes concern among historians and archaeologists, as its unique history and cultural heritage are at risk of disappearing. Laguna Truk, now known as Chuck, in the Pacific Ocean became the site of one of the largest naval operations of World War II. In February 1944, the U.S. Navy conducted Operation Hailstone, during which more than 60 Japanese ships, including destroyers, transport vessels, and submarines, were sunk. This operation was a disaster for the Japanese Navy, which was already struggling against the Allied forces. The numerous air attacks that continued for several days turned the lagoon into a graveyard of military equipment. Today, the bottom of Truk is not just filled with sunken ships, but also with numerous artifacts that tell the story of the war. Many of these ships are in remarkably good condition, making them objects of great interest for divers from around the world. Truk has become not just a place of sinking, but a true underwater museum where divers can explore the remnants of the Japanese Navy and immerse themselves in history. The condition of the sunken ships varies. Some are completely covered in coral, while others, like the transport ship Akasaki Maru, have retained their shape and even their internal compartments, offering researchers access to historical artifacts and military equipment. These underwater ruins attract both professional divers and enthusiasts eager to touch history from World War II. Laguna Truk has become not only a memorial to tragedy, but also a symbol of how war leaves its mark on the ocean floor, creating unique conditions for the study and preservation of historical heritage, which, like the Titanic, becomes increasingly vulnerable to the destructive forces of time and human activity. The ship Vasa is a Swedish warship from the 17th century that has become one of the most famous examples in maritime history due to its dramatic sinking and remarkable preservation. On August 18, 1628, Vasa embarked on its first and final voyage from Stockholm, but it capsized and sank in the Baltic Sea just minutes after setting sail. The incident was caused by the ship's insufficient stability and overloading due to the numerous cannons installed on the upper decks. The cold, salty waters of the Baltic Sea contributed to the remarkable preservation of Vasa on the seabed. In 1961, a complex process of raising the ship began, which took nearly 3 years. Using a system of lifting balloons, engineers were able to carefully raise Vasa from the seabed, preserving as many original details as possible. After being raised, a long-term conservation process began, which involved treating the wood with special solutions to prevent its deterioration. This process allowed the preservation of unique ship details, including its carvings and decorative elements, which can now be seen in the museum exhibition. Vasa has become a symbol of Swedish maritime power and an important object of study for historians and archaeologists, as well as a foundation for educational programs on maritime history. The Antikythera shipwreck, a legendary discovery, occurred in 1900 when a group of divers working off the coast of the Greek island of Antikythera stumbled upon a sunken ancient Greek ship. This ship, likely to have sunk in the 1st century BC, turned out to be a treasure trove. Among its remains were found more than 200 statues, including bronze and marble sculptures, as well as a vast number of coins and ceramics, indicating its rich cargo and trade connections with various Mediterranean cultures. However, the most captivating find was the Antikythera mechanism, which historians refer to as the world's oldest analog computer. The discovery of this mechanism altered our understanding of the technological capabilities of the ancient world. It consisted of numerous bronze gears and allowed for the calculation of astronomical events such as solar and lunar eclipses. Studying this mechanism, scientists concluded that ancient Greeks possessed far more advanced knowledge in mechanics and astronomy than previously believed. This artifact became a key to understanding the level of technology available in antiquity and opened new horizons in the study of ancient Greek science and engineering. The discovery also prompted researchers to reevaluate the role of technology in the daily lives of ancient civilizations, inspiring new research and archaeological expeditions. In maritime folklore, There are numerous stories about ghost ships that captivate with their mystery and enigma. These legends describe vessels sailing the waves without a crew, leaving behind only a trail of mist and vague memories of those who once walked their decks. Often, such ships appear in storms or under the light of the moon, creating an atmosphere of fear and dread among sailors. Ghost ships often symbolize the unexplored depths of the ocean, its unpredictability, and the dangers that await those who venture into the open sea. These tales are not merely fanciful stories, but reflections of deep-seated fears and anxieties of those who spent their lives at sea. Psychologically, such legends can be linked to feelings of loss and grief, as sailors lost their comrades in storms or shipwrecks. The invisible bonds between sailors and their vanished companions create a genuine myth about ghost ships, which become symbols of the unbreakable connection between life and death at sea. Additionally, these stories serve as warnings that the sea does not forgive carelessness and is always ready to claim those who do not respect its power. Many sailors consider an encounter with a ghost ship as an omen, which gives these legends a special aura of mystique and significance in their daily lives. These tales are passed down from generation to generation, enriching the cultural context of maritime voyages and creating a unique folklore that sailors live by. In this context, ghost ships become not only objects of fear but also metaphors for contemplation on human destiny, how quickly life can be cut short amidst the vast waters. There are even theories that such stories emerged as attempts to explain the inexplicable, such as the disappearance of ships in fog or during floods, when sailors encountered the unknown. These stories, filled with mystique and drama, only underscore how deep and complex the connections between people and the sea are. The Flying Dutchman is an archetypal ghost ship that embodies the fear and mystery associated with the sea. The legend of it emerged in the 17th century when Dutch merchant ships sailed the waters of the Indian Ocean, and sailors began to tell tales of a mysterious captain, Van der Decken, who, according to the legends, violated a divine law and was cursed to eternal sailing. Various versions of this story describe how his ship was doomed to endless wandering, and he himself became a symbol of inexorable time and inevitable fate. Some sources claim that Van der Decken attempted to round the Cape of Good Hope, but due to bad weather and the defiance of nature, his ship was condemned to roam the seas until the end of time. Encounters with the Flying Dutchman became part of maritime folklore, and many sailors claim to have seen this spectral ship, surrounded by bright light or a cloud of mist. These stories fueled interest in the myth, and despite the lack of evidence, many continued to record their encounters in journals and stories. The Flying Dutchman also became a prominent figure in culture. His image was immortalized in literature, such as Heinrich Heine's play Undine, as well as in Wagner's opera and numerous films, where he often symbolizes the inevitability of fate and an endless thirst for freedom. In music, this myth inspired composers to create works that convey feelings of dread and mystique associated with the sea. For example, in songs and ballads, the ghostly ship is often mentioned as appearing suddenly and disappearing just as quickly. The Flying Dutchman became not only a symbol of a curse, but also a metaphor for humanity's endless pursuits of freedom and exploration, highlighting how mythology shapes cultural perceptions of the sea and its dangers. The story of the Marie Celeste begins in November 1872 when the vessel was discovered in the Atlantic Ocean. The ship was found without a crew, and its condition was astonishing. The schooner was in perfect condition, with no significant damage, and all personal belongings, including clothing and valuables, were on board. However, the table in the cabin was set as if the crew had just finished a meal. The main question was where the crew had disappeared to. There was no lifeboat on board, adding to the mystery of the story. Captain Benjamin Bragg and his crew of 7 set sail from New York, but never reached Gibraltar. One theory suggests that the crew may have been attacked by pirates, but no signs of struggle or theft were found. Another theory proposes that the crew may have been poisoned by alcohol fumes, as there were over 1,200 barrels of alcoholic beverages on board. Some researchers even suggested that a hydrogen incident could have caused a panic among the crew. Over the years, numerous theories emerged, but none could explain the complete disappearance of the crew. The ship was towed to port and soon put up for auction, leading to its further use in various waters. For the following years, Marie Celeste continued to sail, but the mystery of its crew's disappearance remained one of the most enigmatic in maritime history. The schooner Carol A. Deering was discovered in January 1921 off the coast of North Carolina, and its history is shrouded in mystery. The last known contact with the vessel was on January 10th, when it left the port of Hatteras Point. Crew members reported that there were 13 people on board. However, by January 13th, the ship was found abandoned and without a crew on the reefs near the shore. The ship was in poor condition, the masts were broken, and the sails were torn. It appeared as if the crew had left in a hurry. A comprehensive investigation conducted by the U.S. government included witness interviews and analysis of evidence found on board, but the results were inconclusive. Some witnesses claimed to have seen Carol A. Deering in the company of other ships shortly before it was discovered, fueling rumors of a possible mutiny or piracy. Other theories linked the crew's disappearance to the mysteries of the Bermuda Triangle, known for its unexplained disappearances and phenomena. Soon, myths and legends began to surround Carol A. Deering, but none of the versions were confirmed. The investigation failed to determine what happened to the crew, only adding to the speculation. Personal belongings of the sailors, including letters that were never sent, remained on board. Modern cases of the discovery of ghost ships continue to stir the minds of researchers and enthusiasts of maritime mysteries. In 2007, off the coast of Australia, a yacht named Scottsville was found adrift without a crew. No traces were found on board except for the owner's personal belongings. This discovery has given rise to numerous rumors about mysterious circumstances surrounding its disappearance. However, it is likely that the yacht simply lost control due to a severe storm, or its owner found himself in dire straits. Unlike this case, North Korean ghost ships regularly wash up on the shores of Japan. These vessels are usually old fishing boats, often with bodies on board, which once again raises questions about the fate of their crews. Some of these cases can be explained by poor weather conditions and a lack of resources for normal ship operation. Mystical interpretations of such finds are often absurd, ranging from legends of lost souls to theories about ships that return from the otherworld. Rational explanations usually point to real problems faced by North Korean sailors, such as lack of fuel and food, leading to ships being abandoned. In this context, the study of such finds allows for a deeper understanding not only of maritime history, but also of the socio-economic realities of countries that continue to send ships to sea, where their crews risk their lives. In 2018, 8 such boats were found on the Japanese coast in just 1 week, clearly indicating a systemic problem with migration and the search for a better life. Marine monsters occupy a special place in world culture, reflecting the fears and fantasies of humanity over centuries. These mysterious creatures symbolize the unexplored depths that have always both attracted and frightened people. Since ancient times, when sailors embarked on long journeys, they encountered inexplicable phenomena and dangers, giving rise to legends of gigantic beings capable of dragging ships to the ocean floor. These legends embodied human fear of the unknown, of what lies beyond the horizon and in the dark waters. Even in the modern world, where scientific discoveries debunk many old myths, interest in marine monsters does not wane. Cryptozoology, the study of elusive creatures, continues to attract researchers and enthusiasts of mysteries. Fantasies about marine monsters sometimes become more real than facts, fueling interest in the depths of the ocean, where many believe incredible creatures may still lurk. These depths remain the last true white spots on the map of our world, and this cannot fail to evoke a sense of awe in those who dare to peer into their black waters. In myths and tales of marine monsters, there is not only fear but also hope, for they remind us that even in the darkest places, something extraordinary may be hidden. This interplay of light and shadow, reality and fantasy, continues to inspire writers, artists, and researchers seeking answers to questions that have remained unanswered for centuries. In these boundless waters, teeming with secrets and mysteries, people continue to seek not only adventures but also themselves, making the theme of marine monsters eternal and relevant. In various cultures, marine monsters embody not only fear of nature but also fear of oneself, of one's inner demons, which, like mysterious creatures, can appear at the most unexpected moment. In this context, marine monsters become a metaphor for human fears and aspirations, symbolizing the struggle between the known and the unknown, between reality and fantasy. Legends about them continue to live on, and although we can explore the oceans, understanding what lies hidden there remains beyond our reach. Kraken, as an archetypal sea monster, emerged in Scandinavian legends, where it was described as a giant squid inhabiting the northern waters. These myths were formed based on real observations of squids and octopuses that could reach significant sizes. Sailors returning from maritime expeditions often recounted stories of encounters with this terrifying creature, attributing it increasingly sinister characteristics. Over time, the image of Kraken evolved, and in the 18th century, sailors began to associate it with a giant squid that indeed exists, but was then a mystery to science. In the 19th century, Kraken gained new popularity through literature. In Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, it became a symbol of the unexplored depths and the unknown world of the oceans. Verne described episodes with the monster in such detail that many readers believed in its reality, which further strengthened the myth. In the 20th century, Kraken appeared in cinema, where its image varied from a terrifying monster to more complex, multifaceted characters. Films like Pirates of the Caribbean presented Kraken as a protector of the sea and its secrets, adding new layers to its mythology. Modern scientific research on giant squids has confirmed that in the oceans, there indeed exist creatures capable of inspiring fear and wonder, but they are not as mythologized as Kraken. Scientific data on the size and behavior of these animals only fuels interest in the topic, creating space for new interpretations in art and culture. While the myth of Kraken continues to live, its image remains an integral part of our collective fantasy about the depths of the ocean, where reality and fiction intertwine. There are even a number of documentary films and studies dedicated to these mysterious creatures, continuing to sustain interest in the monsters of the seas. Loch Ness Monster, or Nessie, is considered the most famous cryptid of modern times and a symbol of Scottish legends. The first reports of sightings of the mysterious creature date back to the 6th century, when a monk of St. Columba described an encounter with a water beast in Loch Ness. However, the real sensation occurred in the early 20th century when, in 1934, a famous photograph was taken by a surgeon named Robert K. Wilson. The image shows a long neck and head of the creature emerging from the water and quickly became an icon of cryptozoology, although it was later proven to be a hoax. Nevertheless, this photograph inspired numerous expeditions, during which echolocators and underwater cameras were used to search for evidence of Nessie's existence. In 1981, researchers used sonar to explore the bottom of the lake, but the results were inconclusive. Some scientists suggest that the sightings could be explained by known animals, such as sea serpents or even ordinary fish, which might have been misinterpreted. Other theories propose that these sightings could be the result of light wave distortions caused by water movement. The cultural significance of Nessie for Scotland is hard to overestimate. It has become not only a tourist attraction, drawing thousands of visitors, but also a symbol of Scottish folklore, embodying the mystery and mystique that surround this place. Despite the long history of searches, no conclusive evidence of the existence of the Loch Ness Monster has been found to this day. In the 18th and 19th centuries, many captains and sailors reported encounters with sea serpents, which left a significant mark on history. One of the most famous incidents was observed by the captain of HMS Daedalus in 1848. The captain described a long, serpent-like creature that appeared on the water's surface and then disappeared, leaving a wave in its wake. His report became the basis for numerous debates and discussions in scientific circles. The ship's log also mentioned similar sightings, where sailors described creatures up to 30 feet long, with smooth skin and long, writhing bodies. Scientific hypotheses about what the sailors might have seen range from rare fish species like the long-nosed eel and blue sharks to optical illusions caused by the peculiarities of light refraction in water. One such explanation is linked to the phenomenon known as mirage, where distant objects can appear completely different due to atmospheric conditions. Some researchers suggested that these descriptions could also be related to observations of large marine mammals, such as dolphins or even whales, which are sometimes mistaken for something more exotic in conditions of limited visibility. In particular, in 1866, a group of sailors aboard the Mary S. reported an encounter with a serpent that swam on the water's surface, describing it as a dark and long creature with a visible head and tail, which could also indicate the peculiarities of perceiving animals in motion. Many of these stories may be the product of imagination, but they highlight how maritime romance and fear of the unknown continued to spawn myths and legends about sea serpents in the minds of people of that time. In 1938, a coelacanth was caught in the waters near the island of Madagascar, a fish thought to have gone extinct around 65 million years ago. This specimen was a true living fossil, and its discovery caused a sensation in the scientific community. Previously, coelacanth were known only from fossils found in deposits from the Mesozoic era. Paleontologists, including Joseph Lyell, were stunned to learn that this species still existed. The discovery of the coelacanth confirmed the theory that some species could survive mass extinctions and hide in the unexplored depths of the oceans. The unique anatomical features of the coelacanth, such as its paddle-like fins and distinctive jaw structure, provided scientists with new insights into the evolution of vertebrates. This find not only changed our understanding of paleontology, but also raised the question of how many more living fossils might be hiding in the depths of the ocean. Specialists began to actively explore less studied marine zones, giving hope for the discovery of other unusual species that could alter our understanding of the planet's biological diversity. Research on the coelacanth continues to this day, and each new specimen caught in the waters of the Indian Ocean offers the opportunity to deepen our knowledge of its lifestyle and evolutionary characteristics. The scientific community is still amazed at how one discovery can change our understanding of the past and inspire the search for new knowledge about our planet. It is worth noting that coelacanth belong to the group of lobe-finned fish and possess unique features that distinguish them from other modern fish. The sounds of the ocean create a mysterious symphony filled with diverse and sometimes unpredictable melodies. In this underwater world, the roar of the waves blends with the deep, resonating sounds of whales, which can travel thousands of kilometers, transmitting messages and emotions to their kin. But the ocean is not limited to familiar sounds. Its depths harbor unknown sound phenomena that scientists record using hydrophones placed around the globe. These recordings are astonishing, from melodious trills to muffled hums. Each one could be linked to the lives of marine creatures or even natural phenomena. The ocean seems to whisper its secrets, and each new investigation reveals a new facet of this sonic palette. The diversity of sounds emanating from fish, marine mammals, and even underwater geological processes creates a unique acoustic environment where numerous forms of life thrive. These sounds serve not only as a means of communication but also help us understand the ocean's ecosystem, as each note is a part of a broader picture. Scientists studying these sounds can not only track species migration but also identify changes in their behavior and health. The ocean, one of the largest and least explored places on Earth, holds many mysteries, and the sounds it makes are key to understanding its complex ecology. Research shows that the noises generated by ships and other human activities can affect marine life, altering their habits and communication methods. The sounds of the ocean are not just background noise but a crucial aspect of life in its depths, helping to paint a complete picture of how the underwater world functions. The bloop, one of the most mysterious acoustic phenomena recorded in 1997, is a low-frequency sound that was detected in the southern part of the Pacific Ocean. With a frequency of around 14 Hz, it is almost imperceptible to the human ear but easily detectable by specialized hydrophones. The amplitude of the sound is enormous, reaching levels that can affect underwater ecosystems. The geographical origin of the bloop remains a topic of debate. Some researchers suggest it could be emitted by an unknown type of whale, while others propose that it might be the result of an underwater volcanic eruption. The unusual characteristics of the sound, such as its duration and power, challenge traditional notions of how sounds can arise in the oceanic environment. This has led to numerous theories and hypotheses that continue to be discussed in scientific circles. Some scientists argue that it could be the result of interactions between ocean currents and underwater structures, while others point to the possibility of undiscovered biological sources. The bloop remains an unsolved mystery, intriguing both scientists and enthusiasts of natural phenomena. It is worth noting that such acoustic phenomena, like the bloop, can open new horizons in our understanding of the underwater world, as they may indicate processes about which we currently know very little. In 1999, an unusual sound was recorded in the Pacific Ocean, known as the Julia whistle. This sound posed a mystery for scientists, as its acoustic characteristics do not match any known biological sources. The whistle has a clear periodicity and can last from several seconds to several minutes, with its frequency ranging from tens to hundreds of hertz. Scientists noted that the sound does not resemble the cries of whales or other marine sounds previously studied. Instead, the Julia whistle has a sharper and higher-pitched tone, which raises questions about its origin. Various hypotheses have emerged around this phenomenon. Some researchers suggest that the sound could be related to geological processes such as underwater volcanoes or earthquakes, while others consider the possibility of it being produced by unknown marine creatures. Some scientists even propose that it could be a result of human activity, such as sounds made by submarines or experimental devices. However, a definitive explanation has not yet been found, and the Julia whistle remains one of the most intriguing acoustic mysteries of the ocean, attracting the attention of researchers worldwide who continue to study its properties and attempt to unravel its origin. The uplift signal was recorded in the Indian Ocean in 1997 and became a true mystery for the scientific community. Its distinctive feature is the rapid increase in frequency, which reaches its peak in just a few seconds before fading away. The duration of this sound is only a few seconds, but it leaves a significant trace in acoustic recordings. Geographically, the signal was detected in an area known for its diverse marine life and potential seismic activity. Scientists have proposed several theories about the origin of this sound. One of the most widely accepted hypotheses suggests that it could be related to underwater earthquakes or volcanic activity, which often occur in this region. However, despite these explanations, some researchers believe that the signal might come from unknown deep-sea creatures that produce sounds similar to those recorded. This discovery challenges our understanding of deep-sea ecosystems and their inhabitants. It is important to note that none of the proposed explanations have been definitively confirmed, and the uplift signal mystery continues to intrigue scientists and enthusiasts of marine mysteries. Research in this field is ongoing, and with each new discovery, we get closer to unraveling the nature of this enigmatic sound. Biosonar communication in humpback whales is one of the most complex and fascinating aspects of their behavior. Their songs can last up to 45 minutes and consist of a series of melodies that vary in length and complexity. These sounds are not only beautiful but also have regional dialects that differ depending on the geographical location. For instance, humpback whales in the Pacific Ocean may have entirely different songs compared to those in the Atlantic Ocean. The evolution of melodies occurs over time. Whale hits are updated, and new variations emerge in response to changes in the environment or social behavior. Research shows that sounds can travel underwater for up to 20 kilometers, making them an effective means of communication in oceanic depths. Scientists propose several theories about the functional significance of these vocalizations. One of the most prevalent hypotheses suggests that songs are used in mating rituals, with males attracting females. Other researchers claim that whales transmit cultural information, sharing knowledge about food sources or safe migration routes. These sounds can also serve as a means of social interaction among groups of whales, allowing them to maintain connections and coordinate their actions. As a result, biosonar communication in humpback whales is not only a means of communication, but also an essential part of their social structure and culture. Experts continue to study this phenomenon, striving to unravel its complexity and significance for the survival of these magnificent creatures. Deep-sea anomalies represent one of the most intriguing and mysterious directions in the study of the oceans. Modern technologies such as underwater drones and high-precision sonars have recorded numerous unexplained phenomena at significant depths, challenging our understanding of the marine environment. These anomalies can manifest as strange forms of seafloor relief, sudden temperature changes, or even unexpected biomass accumulations in places where life seems impossible. Scientists, diving their instruments into the dark depths, encounter data that often contradict established scientific theories about how the ocean's ecosystem functions. Observations reveal that some parts of the ocean floor emit anomalous levels of light, while in other places, unexplained sound waves are detected. These facts not only spark scientific interest, but also create an atmosphere of mystery around the depths, where each new discovery can change our understanding of life on Earth. Research continues, and each new expedition brings new riddles that require deep analysis and interpretation. Scientists strive to unravel these mysteries, delving into a world that remains largely unexplored and mysterious to humanity. Underwater research is not just a tool for studying ecosystems, but also a battleground for scientific uncertainty, where each anomaly can offer a new perspective on long-known facts about our planet. In such conditions, it is important not only to collect data, but also to develop theories that can explain why some parts of the ocean behave as if they are subject to unknown natural laws. For example, anomalies recorded at depth may indicate the existence of previously unknown processes that shape the marine environment. The results of these studies can have serious consequences not only for science, but also for understanding the interaction between humans and the ocean, as humanity increasingly relies on resources hidden in the ocean depths. On this backdrop, work continues at the intersection of sciences, where ecology, geology, and physics converge to unravel the secrets hidden in the deep-sea world. An important aspect of research is not only the search for answers, but also the development of technologies that allow for deeper and more effective exploration of these inaccessible places. The Baltic anomaly is a mysterious circular object discovered on the bottom of the Baltic Sea in 2011. Its appearance resembles the Death Star from Star Wars, immediately drawing the attention of both scientists and enthusiasts of mysteries. The anomaly has a diameter of approximately 80 meters, and its surface is marked with peculiar traces that seem to lead to the object, as if it were intentionally left there. These traces raise numerous questions. What could have created them? Additionally, near the anomaly, there are observations of anomalies in the functioning of electrical equipment, further adding to the object's enigmatic nature. Scientists are divided in their opinions, with some attributing it to natural geological processes and others suggesting it could be of artificial origin, such as the remains of a sunken ship or even an alien spacecraft. The debate about the nature of the Baltic anomaly is ongoing, and each new piece of information only fuels the interest in this mysterious object. Some researchers propose that the anomaly may be connected to ancient maritime myths about submerged civilizations, while others view it as a modern scientific marvel. There are even theories that additional structures may be hidden around the object, waiting to be discovered. As a result, the Baltic anomaly remains one of the most intriguing finds in contemporary archaeology and oceanography, opening new avenues for research and speculation. The Cuban underwater pyramid was discovered in 2001 off the coast of Cuba using deep-sea sonar. The structure is an extraordinary combination of geometric forms that resemble urban planning, including straight lines and angles, which has sparked debate about its artificial origin. These pyramid-like formations are located at a depth of around 700 meters, making their study extremely challenging. Some scientists suggest that these structures could be several thousand years old, which challenges traditional views on the development of civilizations in this region. However, the political situation in Cuba significantly complicates access to these sites in the conduct of research. As a result, many scientists continue to debate whether these formations are natural or man-made, and which cultures could have built such complex structures. Meanwhile, active speculations about possible connections with other known underwater discoveries, such as the Bermuda Triangle, only fuel interest in this mysterious pyramid. Research continues, but for final conclusions, more data and time are needed. The underwater monuments off the island of Yonaguni are among the most mysterious objects in underwater archaeology. These structures feature distinctive right angles and stepped forms, which have sparked debate about their origin. Archaeologists suggest that these structures could be remnants of an ancient civilization that may have existed in the area around 10 to 12,000 years ago. Some researchers point to the presence of what appear to be columns and platforms, reminiscent of elements from ancient architectural styles. However, geologists argue that these structures could have formed naturally due to erosion of sandstone. They contend that underwater features such as steps and angles could be the result of natural processes involving currents and waves in the region. The differing viewpoints highlight the complexity of the issue. Some scientists see these monuments as evidence of human activity, while others view them as mere whims of nature. Ongoing research and new technologies, such as three-dimensional laser scanning, are enabling a deeper examination of these structures and their context within the surrounding environment. Consequently, the underwater monuments at Yonaguni remain a subject of intense debate and offer new insights into human history and geological processes. Numerous artifacts found in the area further fuel the mystery surrounding these enigmatic constructions. The North Sea Atlantis, known as Doggerland, was a submerged Mesolithic landmass situated between Britain and continental Europe. This territory existed as a land bridge for over 6,500 years until the sea level rose significantly higher than it is today. Doggerland was rich in hunting grounds, home to various species including mammoths, deer, and wild boars. Archaeologists have found tools such as stone arrowheads and knives and fishing nets, indicating that people were actively engaged in fishing and hunting. The reconstruction of the landscape and climate of this region is based on geological and paleobotanical data. For instance, the analysis of sediments and seeds shows that the climate was warmer and wetter than it is now, fostering the development of vegetation and wildlife. As the sea level rose following the last ice age due to the melting of glaciers, Doggerland was gradually submerged, isolating groups of people and animals. Scientific research indicates that this submersion occurred in several stages, and by around 2500 BCE, this land was completely underwater. On the bottom of the North Sea, remains of ancient settlements have been found, providing insights into how people lived on this land and how they adapted to changes in their environment. Oceanic trenches and abysses are remarkable and mysterious formations on the ocean floor, abruptly plunging into infinite depths. These natural anomalies can reach enormous sizes and shapes, often sparking not only scientific interest but also a sense of mystique among researchers. Their presence indicates complex geological processes that have occurred over millions of years. Trenches can take various forms, from deep chasms to wide, bowl-shaped depressions, each harboring its own secrets. Some trenches form as a result of the collapse of underwater caves, others due to tectonic shifts, while others may arise from volcanic activity. These enigmatic structures attract the attention of scientists, as they may contain unique ecosystems found nowhere else on the surface. Research shows that such places can be home to rare marine organisms that have adapted to extreme conditions. For instance, in the deepest parts of the ocean, where light does not penetrate, creatures use bioluminescence to attract prey and communicate with each other. These characteristics make oceanic trenches not only objects of scientific study, but also sources of inspiration for myths and legends about the sea depths that have captivated human imagination for centuries. Additionally, some researchers suggest that trenches may be linked to the mysterious disappearances of ships and aircraft, adding an element of mystery and intrigue to these natural phenomena. For example, such places often exhibit unusual magnetic anomalies that can disrupt navigational instruments. These factors make oceanic trenches the subject of active scientific research aimed at understanding their nature and impact on the surrounding ecosystem. Scientists continue to study how such formations can influence marine currents and climate. The Great Blue Hole off the coast of Belize is not just a natural formation, but a true geological enigma, taking the form of a submerged sinkhole. It emerged approximately 8,000 years ago when sea levels rose and flooded caves that created this unique feature. The Great Blue Hole has a diameter of 318 meters and a depth of 124 meters. Its distinctive dark blue color stands out against the vibrant turquoise waters of the Caribbean Sea, making it a true gem for tourists and researchers alike. The water in the hole is stratified, meaning it is divided into layers with varying oxygen content, creating unique conditions for the life of various marine organisms. At depth, one can encounter sharks, rays, and numerous other fish species, while the upper layers are home to smaller, less oxygen-dependent creatures. The Great Blue Hole is recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site and is a magnet for divers from around the world who seek to explore its mysterious depths and witness the unique underwater landscapes. This site not only attracts tourists but also serves as a focus for active scientific research aimed at understanding its ecosystem and its impact on the surrounding environment. The Blue Hole of Dahab, located in the Red Sea off the coast of Egypt, is notorious for its ominous reputation as the Killer Hole. This site has drawn divers, but it has also been the scene of numerous tragedies, as many scuba enthusiasts have lost their lives here. The structure of the hole is unique. It features a submerged arched passage at depths ranging from 52 to 55 meters, adding to the challenges faced by divers. Dangerous currents that permeate this area can suddenly change direction and speed, making the dive particularly hazardous. Additionally, the risk of nitrogen narcosis is another threat that divers face at great depths. When diving to such depths, as in the blue hole, the level of nitrogen in the blood can rise rapidly, leading to loss of control and even unconsciousness. Safe diving in these waters requires high qualifications and experience, as insufficient preparation can have tragic consequences. Diving in the blue hole demands not only skills but also knowledge of how to properly manage one's body under increased pressure and how to handle potential emergency situations. It is important to note that even the most experienced divers may encounter unexpected problems, underscoring the complexity and danger of this underwater site. Underwater caves of Yucatan, known as cenotes, are a unique phenomenon closely linked to the Maya civilization. These natural formations arose from the collapse of limestone vaults over underground rivers, creating extensive and complex tunnel systems stretching for hundreds of kilometers. The water in cenotes is crystal clear due to filtration through limestone deposits, making them attractive to researchers and divers alike. For the Maya, cenotes held sacred significance, serving as portals to the underworld. Archaeologists have found on the floors of these caves remnants of sacrifices, including ceramics, human remains, and other ritual objects, indicating that the Maya used cenotes for religious ceremonies. These rituals were often connected to rain and fertility, as water was vital for their agriculture and survival. The importance of cenotes to the Maya cannot be overstated. They were places of gathering, communication, and ritual performance, underscoring their cultural and spiritual significance. The variety of forms and sizes of cenotes is impressive, ranging from small, secluded caves to vast open water bodies surrounded by vegetation. These underwater systems served not only as sources of water but also as protection from enemies and places for trade and exchange. Cenotes of Yucatan are not just natural formations but true cultural landmarks that have preserved the multi-century history of the Maya. Ongoing archaeological research continues to uncover new finds that help us better understand how ancient Maya interacted with their environment and what rituals they performed in these mystical places. The underwater cave system of Sac-Acton on the Yucatan Peninsula is the longest flooded cave system in the world, stretching over 350 kilometers. These caves formed in limestone deposits, and their internal chambers feature unique stalactites and stalagmites that grew during dry periods when water levels were significantly lower. The exploration of the Sac-Acton caves has yielded numerous discoveries, including the remains of ancient animals and humans dating back up to 12,000 years. Among the most significant finds was the skeleton of Naya, a girl from the Paleolithic era, discovered in the 20th century at a depth of several dozen meters. This skeleton is a crucial testament to human life in prehistoric times and their interaction with nature. Sac-Acton also serves as a unique archaeological laboratory where scientists study traces of ancient flora and fauna, as well as fossilized remains that reveal the mysteries of life on the Yucatan Peninsula. The caves are not merely geological formations but an archive containing data on climatic changes and human migrations, making them essential for understanding the ancient history of the region. Deep-sea research represents an exciting field of science where engineering ingenuity meets unique challenges. Humanity has always sought to explore the unknown depths of the oceans, and this endeavor has become possible thanks to the development of complex technologies that can withstand immense pressure, freezing temperatures, and complete darkness of the underwater world. Each meter of descent into the ocean poses a test for scientists and engineers. They must consider not only the physical conditions but also the need to collect and analyze data in a complex environment. Using innovative materials and designs, researchers create equipment capable of withstanding extreme depth conditions, as well as communication and navigation systems that allow information to be transmitted to the surface. These technologies open new horizons for studying the ocean floor, underwater ecosystems, and geological formations. Deep-sea research enables not only the discovery of new species and the study of their behavior, but also the investigation of phenomena such as hydrothermal vents and underwater volcanoes, which impact global climate and ecosystems. Life in the ocean's depths has adapted to these conditions, and each new discovery here is a significant step toward understanding both nature and the historical context of our world. By studying fields such as geology, biology, and oceanography, scientists gain the ability not only to expand the boundaries of knowledge, but also to look into the past, revealing secrets hidden beneath the water's surface. By combining the efforts of different disciplines, researchers move forward, opening up previously inaccessible worlds for humanity. In such conditions, underwater research becomes not just a scientific practice, but a true adventure, where each step forward is a captivating discovery. The bathyscaphe Trieste became a symbol of underwater research due to its historic descent in 1960 by Jacques Picard and Don Walsh to the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the deepest point in the world's oceans. This vessel was a unique construction with a sturdy spherical cabin made of special steel capable of withstanding immense pressure at depths exceeding 10,000 meters. The cabin was connected to a large float filled with gasoline, providing the necessary buoyancy and weight compensation. The descent lasted 9 hours, and during this journey, the crew encountered an unexpected discovery. They found a flounder on the ocean floor, which was a true surprise as life at such depths seemed impossible. This discovery not only confirmed the presence of living organisms on the ocean floor, but also allowed scientists to reassess their understanding of the marine ecosystem. The Trieste expedition was a significant milestone in the study of deep-sea biology and geology, opening new horizons for science and inspiring future generations of researchers. During the descent of Picard and Walsh, data was collected that is still being analyzed, and their findings have become the foundation for further research in the most extreme conditions on the planet. The deep-sea vehicle Mir was developed in Russia and became one of the most renowned tools for exploring ocean depths. It can dive to depths of up to 6,000 meters, enabling it to reach the most inaccessible places on the planet. Mir is equipped with modern life support systems that ensure a comfortable stay in the underwater environment for a two-person crew over extended periods. Inside the vehicle, manipulators are installed, allowing for various research activities and sample collection on the ocean floor. The scientific equipment includes high-definition cameras capable of capturing images in low-light conditions, as well as instruments for studying the chemical composition of water and sediments. Among the most significant expeditions, the exploration of the famous Titanic stands out, where Mir played a key role in documenting the state of the sunken liner and its surroundings. The vehicle was also used to study hydrothermal vents, which are unique ecosystems teeming with life despite extreme conditions. Notably, Mir also participated in the filming of James Cameron's iconic movie Titanic, where its capabilities allowed for the capture of breathtaking underwater scenes with remarkable detail. As a result, Mir became not only a scientific instrument, but also a symbol of humanity's quest to explore the unknown in the deepest corners of the ocean. Modern deep-sea drones and autonomous underwater vehicles represent a true revolution in ocean exploration. These devices offer numerous advantages over manned vessels. Firstly, the absence of human risk allows for prolonged missions in challenging conditions where human presence would be impossible, such as at depths exceeding 3,000 meters. Secondly, the smaller size of drones makes them more maneuverable and capable of exploring narrow and hard-to-reach areas of the ocean floor. For example, the autonomous underwater vehicle Seabed can operate at depths of up to 5,000 meters, equipped with highly sensitive sensors that enable precise mapping of the seabed. Leading models like Remus and AUV Abyss possess significant technical capabilities that can operate for up to 7 days without recharging, thanks to powerful lithium-ion batteries. Navigation systems in these vehicles are based on inertial measurement units and GPS, ensuring high accuracy in complex conditions. Furthermore, they are equipped with modern data collection systems that can record environmental parameters, such as water temperature and salinity, and analyze samples using manipulators. Communication with the surface is achieved through acoustic systems, allowing real-time data transmission. These vehicles play a crucial role in mapping the ocean floor, For instance, in 2020, the drone Nereus created a three-dimensional map of one of the deepest places on the planet, the Mariana Trench. Such technologies open new horizons in the study of ecosystems on the brink of extinction and in the search for resources hidden in the depths of the ocean. The Necton Project is an ambitious scientific initiative aimed at exploring the depths of the Indian Ocean, particularly the areas around the Seychelles and Maldives. This program began in 2018 and focuses on studying the marine ecosystem, which remains largely unexplored. The mission employs submersible research vehicles capable of diving to depths exceeding 200 meters, enabling scientists to conduct research in previously inaccessible conditions. Additionally, the project utilizes drones for data collection and mapping of the ocean floor, opening new frontiers for exploration. One of the project's most notable achievements was the first-ever live broadcast from depths over 200 meters, allowing a wide audience to witness unique underwater landscapes and organisms. During expeditions, researchers discovered numerous new marine species previously unknown to science, highlighting the richness and diversity of marine life in this region. Among the findings were unique sponge and crustacean species that amazed scientists with their adaptations to extreme conditions. Furthermore, the Necton Project actively maps previously unexplored areas of the ocean floor, which could lead to the discovery of new ecosystems and help understand the impact of climate change on the marine environment. The research also aims to assess the condition of coral reefs, which are under threat of extinction. An important aspect of the project is collaboration with local communities, which promotes the dissemination of knowledge about marine conservation and engages residents in environmental protection. As part of these efforts, seminars and educational programs are organized, underscoring the importance of cooperation between scientists and local populations in preserving unique ecosystems. Underwater archaeology is a relatively young but rapidly developing field that focuses on the study of submerged objects and cultural heritage. Archaeologists and historians who venture into the depths of the ocean face numerous challenges, from harsh weather conditions to low visibility and high humidity, which necessitate the development of unique technologies and methods. For instance, they employ underwater drones and remotely operated vehicles to explore areas inaccessible to humans. Equipment for underwater excavations includes specialized suits that allow work at great depths, as well as navigation systems that help accurately locate the objects under study. These specialists are developing new methods of documenting finds, such as three-dimensional scanning, which enables the creation of detailed models of submerged artifacts and ships. Additionally, underwater archaeologists actively use dating methods to determine the time frames of submersion and the context of use. An important aspect of their work is collaboration with oceanographers and ecologists, as the preservation of historical finds often depends on the state of the marine environment. In this context, underwater archaeology not only opens new horizons for the study of history but also presents scientists with tasks related to the protection and restoration of submerged cultural heritage, requiring a comprehensive approach and interdisciplinary cooperation. Methods of dating underwater archaeological finds represent a complex and multi-stage process that requires the use of various scientific approaches. Radiocarbon analysis, for instance, allows for the determination of the age of organic materials such as wood or textiles by measuring the ratio of carbon-14 to stable isotopes of carbon. This method is effective for finds whose age does not exceed 50,000 years, which is suitable for most underwater archaeological objects. Dendrochronology, on the other hand, is used for dating wooden parts of ships by analyzing the annual ring structure of the wood. This method not only determines the age of the tree but also the climatic conditions during its growth, using data on the width of the rings to analyze changes in the surrounding environment. Additionally, thermoluminescence analysis is widely used for ceramics and coins to determine the time of the last firing of the clay. However, the underwater environment introduces its own distortions into the dating process. For example, salt present in seawater can affect the preservation of organic materials and their radioactive composition, necessitating the use of corrective coefficients. Furthermore, temperature and pressure fluctuations at depth can significantly complicate the task of preserving the temporal scale. To overcome these challenges, archaeologists often employ a multi-level approach, they combine different dating methods, allowing them to compare results and minimize errors. In some cases, methods of paleomagnetism, which study changes in the Earth's magnetic field, are also used to help establish temporal frameworks. Such methods enable a more comprehensive understanding of the time and conditions in which the studied objects existed and allow for the consideration of various factors affecting the preservation of finds on the seabed. Conservation technologies for artifacts recovered from the seabed are complex and multi-stage processes that require high levels of skill and precision. One of the most common methods for stabilizing wooden elements is the use of polyethylene glycol. This substance penetrates the wood structure and replaces water, preventing drying and cracking of the material. The process can take several months or even years, depending on the size and condition of the artifact. For example, the conservation of the Vasa ship, which sank in the 16th century, took more than 30 years. For metallic objects, electrolysis is used, which removes corrosion from the surface and restores the metal structure. In this process, artifacts are placed in an electrolytic solution where metal is restored using electrical current. This method can also take a significant amount of time, especially if the items are severely damaged. Additionally, the conservation of ceramics and organic materials requires special approaches. Ceramics are often treated with special solutions that restore strength and prevent further deterioration, while organic materials, such as textiles, require more delicate handling, including freezing or treatment in an inert gas environment. These methods not only preserve the physical integrity of artifacts but also their historical value, allowing researchers to continue studying and analyzing the finds. Legal aspects of underwater archaeology remain one of the most pressing issues in the field of cultural heritage protection. In 2001, the UNESCO Convention on the Protection of the Underwater Cultural Heritage was adopted, establishing international norms for the protection of submerged objects and artifacts. According to this convention, states have sovereign rights over submerged objects in their territorial waters, providing a legal basis for the protection of cultural heritage and preventing its destruction. However, the problem of treasure hunters complicates the situation. Many private collectors and commercial companies strive to retrieve artifacts from the sea, often without proper authorization and to the detriment of scientific research. This raises serious ethical dilemmas. On one hand, the recovery of artifacts can lead to their preservation and study, but on the other hand, it deprives them of their historical context, which is crucial for understanding their significance. For instance, raising the remains of a ship can destroy information about its location and conditions of sinking, which in turn affects our perception of historical events. It is important to note that even with existing legal frameworks, controlling the activities of treasure hunters is extremely challenging. Many states lack resources to protect their cultural heritage in the face of the growing commercialization of underwater finds. This creates a situation where cultural objects become commodities, which contradicts the concept of their historical value and cultural significance. As a result, the issue of protecting submerged cultural heritage requires a comprehensive approach and active involvement of the international community. For example, in 2015, 8 states signed an agreement on the joint protection of underwater cultural heritage in the Mediterranean Sea, which was a significant step towards addressing this problem. The use of photogrammetry and three-dimensional modeling in underwater archaeology has opened up new horizons for the study of submerged objects. This process begins with researchers taking thousands of photographs of submerged artifacts from various angles, which allows for the collection of a vast amount of data. Special software then processes these images to create detailed digital models that can accurately reproduce the shapes and textures of the objects. The advantages of this technology are evident. Firstly, it is non-invasive, thus avoiding the risk of damaging fragile finds. Secondly, such precision allows the context in which the artifacts were found to be preserved, which is critically important for their further study. Virtual museums are becoming a new format for presenting the results of archaeological research, enabling users from around the world to interact with digital copies of submerged ships or other objects. These models are not only used for exhibitions but also for scientific analysis, allowing researchers to study details without the need for repeated dives, thus saving time and resources. For example, archaeologists can study the construction of ancient ships in detail without leaving any traces on the ocean floor. This technology has already proven its worth in projects such as the modeling of the submerged city of Padel in the Indian Ocean and the study of Roman ships in the Mediterranean Sea. Digital models not only help preserve cultural heritage, but also open up possibilities for interactive learning and the popularization of science among a wide audience. Oceanic anomalies and unexplained phenomena provoke a multitude of questions and mysteries among scientists and researchers, compelling them to delve into the unknown. These phenomena can manifest in various forms, from unusual light phenomena to strange sounds emanating from the depths of the ocean, which cannot be explained by any known scientific theory. Many of these anomalies lie at the boundary between scientific fact and myth, creating an atmosphere of mystery that attracts the attention of both professionals and adventure enthusiasts. Research shows that only a small portion of the ocean floor has been thoroughly explored, and beneath the water's surface may lie phenomena that could fundamentally alter our understanding of nature. Ocean currents, deep-sea volcanoes, and mysterious structures on the ocean floor may hold clues about what is happening in our world. Some of these anomalies may be the result of natural processes such as plate tectonics, while others remain beyond our comprehension, prompting scientists to formulate hypotheses and gather evidence. These studies highlight that the ocean is not merely a watery expanse, but a complex ecosystem filled with unexpected discoveries. It may contain answers to questions about the origin of life on Earth and even about the future of our planet. Considering the vastness of the unknown, it becomes clear that each new expedition could lead to sensational discoveries or even the confirmation of long-forgotten myths. Scientists continue to explore the depths of the ocean in search of answers, and each discovery could be a key to unraveling mysteries that have eluded us for centuries. In such conditions, there is a possibility of uncovering anomalies that could change our perception of the world around us. In the depths of the ocean, where light does not penetrate, not only unusual creatures but also anomalous phenomena may challenge the laws of physics and biology as we know them. In 1997, researchers from NOAA recorded unusual low-frequency sounds known as bloopers. These sounds were so powerful that their intensity exceeded the volume of a blue whale's call by thousands of times. Geographically, bloopers originated from the southeastern part of the Pacific Ocean, adding to their mystery given that this is one of the deepest and least explored regions of the ocean. The sounds exhibited a periodicity that allowed scientists to hypothesize their regular occurrence, although the exact causes of their origin remained unclear. One theory suggested that bloopers might originate from large marine animals that have not yet been discovered. Other scientists proposed that these sounds could be caused by ice processes, such as cracks in ice shelves that produce powerful sounds upon breaking. Another hypothesis suggested that the sounds could be the result of seismic activity occurring on the ocean floor. Some researchers even speculated about the existence of unknown underwater geological processes that could generate such unique sound waves. These hypotheses highlight how little we know about the depths of the ocean, where extraordinary and unexplained phenomena may occur daily. It is important to note that bloopers have become a symbol of our inability to fully explore the oceanic expanses, where science encounters new, sometimes frightening mysteries. Consequently, the sounds that were recorded remain one of the most intriguing pieces of evidence that the depths of the ocean hide numerous secrets waiting to be revealed. The milky white luminescence known as Milky Sea has been observed by sailors for centuries and remains one of the ocean's most mysterious phenomena. Witnesses describe how vast areas of the sea's surface, sometimes spanning hundreds of square kilometers, emit a soft, almost ethereal light, creating the illusion that the water itself is glowing. These observations have been recorded on various maritime routes and range from poetic to scientific descriptions. For instance, in the 18th century, sailors wrote about shining waves that seemed endless, and some even linked this phenomenon to mystical creatures. The scientific explanation for Milky Sea involves bioluminescence, a process where living organisms, such as microscopic bacteria, emit light. Bacteria of the Vibrio genus, for example, can be activated by stress, such as colliding with a ship, and produce a glowing effect visible on the water's surface. Recent satellite observations have confirmed that Milky Sea typically occurs in conditions of higher water temperature and the presence of nutrients, creating ideal conditions for bacterial growth. These observations also suggest that the phenomenon may be linked to specific currents and even changes in ecosystems, such as algal blooms. In some cases, Milky Sea has been observed near coasts where sewage is discharged, leading to an increase in nutrient levels in the water. From an ecological perspective, this phenomenon presents a complex and multifaceted picture of interactions between organisms and their environment, enabling researchers to gain deeper insights into how changes in ecosystems can lead to such striking visual effects as the glowing of the ocean. Quakers are mysterious underwater objects that became known thanks to the hydroacoustic systems of submarines during the Cold War. These objects manifested themselves as strange signals that were recorded on screens and caused bewilderment among naval experts. One of the most striking features of the Quakers was their high speed of movement, up to 200 knots, which significantly exceeds the speed of most known marine creatures. Additionally, Quakers had the ability to abruptly change their direction of movement, which cast doubt on their biological origin. The depth at which they were detected varied from several tens to more than 200 meters, also raising questions about how these objects could exist at such great depths. The secrecy surrounding this phenomenon was so great that even the boldest hypotheses about the nature of the Quakers remained at the level of rumors and speculation. Some researchers suggested that these could be unknown marine animals that have not yet been described by science, while others leaned towards the idea of equipment malfunctions in submarines. There were also more exotic theories linked to unidentified underwater objects that could be the result of extraterrestrial activity. These signals attracted the attention not only of military personnel but also of scientists who tried to unravel the mystery of the Quakers. However, most of them encountered a lack of data and clarity in this matter. Ultimately, Quakers remain one of the most intriguing and mysterious aspects of underwater life, without a clear explanation. In some cases, their study became a real test for the technological capabilities of hydroacoustics, highlighting the difficulties that scientists face in trying to understand the world of underwater spaces. Red tides, a phenomenon of mass reproduction of toxic algae that turns the sea a vivid red and causes significant damage to marine ecosystems. This occurs when certain types of phytoplankton, such as dinoflagellates, rapidly proliferate, often due to factors like elevated levels of nutrients, such as nitrogen and phosphorus, entering the water from agriculture and sewage. Conditions conducive to the formation of red tides include warm water, calm weather, and high solar activity, creating ideal conditions for the growth of algae. The impact of red tides on marine ecosystems can be devastating. The toxins released by the algae can cause mass fish and marine mammal mortality, affecting not only individual species but the entire food chain. For instance, in 1999, a red tide off the coast of Florida resulted in the deaths of over 7 million fish. Additionally, toxic algae can accumulate in mollusks, making them unsafe for consumption and leading to economic losses in fisheries. Some fishermen can lose up to 80% of their income in a single season due to the closure of fishing grounds. Tourism also suffers, as beaches become unsafe for swimming, and the sight of red tides, while attention-grabbing, poses a health risk to people. The increase in the frequency of these events over the past decades is linked to climate change and global ocean pollution, where rising water temperatures and excess nutrients create ideal conditions for algal blooms. According to scientific research, in some regions, the frequency of red tides has increased by 2 to 3 times over the past 30 years. The vast ocean, with its boundless expanses and powerful waves, has always exerted an influence on human consciousness. It is not merely an immense body of water, but a true force of nature, capable of inspiring both fear and attraction. When we stand on the shore, watching the waves roll onto the sand, we feel a sense of awe and power emanating from nature. The ocean beckons like a mysterious force, drawing in its explorers and dreamers. Its endless horizons stir within us a desire to discover the unknown, to find new paths, and to understand ourselves. Yet, the ocean can also instill a sense of unease. Its turbulent storms and treacherous currents remind us of the fragility of human life. We can sense how the water element transforms our perception of time and space, immersing us in a state where reality and fantasy intertwine. Here, we confront our fears and hopes, where each wave's movement seems to whisper about eternity and change. A person standing at the water's edge feels the ocean penetrate their subconscious, evoking contradictory feelings, from tranquility to anxiety. This interaction with water creates a unique state in which we can reevaluate our experiences and find new meanings. The ocean becomes not just a backdrop, but an active participant in our inner life, compelling us to reflect on the depths not only of the external world, but also of our own emotions. Thus, this interaction with the sea opens up new horizons of understanding human nature and its connection to the surrounding environment. In some cultures, the ocean is considered sacred, and people believe it holds ancient wisdom worth exploring. In this context, the ocean is not just water, but a whole world that demands respect and understanding. For instance, in Polynesia, the ocean plays a central role in people's lives, shaping their culture, traditions, and even their language. Each island is not just land, but part of a broader marine space with its own character and history. In this sense, the ocean becomes a living entity with which people find their place in the world. Thalassophilia is not merely a fleeting interest in the sea, but a deep psychological phenomenon with roots in evolution. It is believed that our ancestors, having spent millions of years near bodies of water, developed an instinctive attachment to water, which became the foundation for the development of thalassophilia. The aquatic ape hypothesis suggests that humans evolved in a coastal environment where access to water was critically important for survival. This attraction to water is not coincidental. It is linked to neurochemical processes in the brain. When one contemplates the surface of water, the brain's reward system is activated, releasing dopamine and serotonin, which evoke feelings of happiness and calm. Psychological research shows that marine landscapes have a therapeutic effect, reducing stress and anxiety levels. The sounds of waves also have a soothing effect, as evidenced by numerous experiments where subjects were placed in an environment mimicking the sound of waves and their psycho-emotional state improved. This love for the sea is not limited to personal experiences but also manifests in art. Artists and poets throughout history have been inspired by the sea, creating works filled with its beauty and power. For instance, many writers, weary of life's bustle, have sought to capture the grandeur of the ocean, as Joseph Conrad did in his works. The sea has become a symbol of freedom and infinity in literature, underscoring its significance for human culture. In this context, thalassophilia transcends simple interest, becoming an important aspect of human identity and self-expression. For example, studies show that people who frequently visit coastlines have a higher level of life satisfaction. Thalassophobia is an irrational fear of the ocean and deep waters, which can manifest in people in various forms, from mild discomfort to panic attacks. The psychological mechanisms behind this fear often stem from the instinct of self-preservation, which was crucial for survival in the wild for our ancestors. People instinctively feared large bodies of water because deep waters hid dangers such as predators or strong currents. This explains why many people feel anxious when standing on the shore of the ocean or even just looking at large water expanses. Symptoms of thalassophobia can vary. Some people experience mild unease when looking at the sea, while others may panic at the thought of swimming in open water. In the treatment of thalassophobia, various approaches are used, including cognitive behavioral therapy, which helps people recognize and reevaluate their fears. Exposure therapy is also employed, where patients are gradually introduced to their fear, starting with viewing images of the sea and ending with real trips to the beach. This fear is also reflected in popular culture. The film Jaws became an icon of the horror genre, showing how fear of the ocean can turn into collective terror. Modern films also actively use elements of thalassophobia, emphasizing the dangers of water, which only exacerbates the fear in viewers. Studies show that thalassophobia affects about 10% of the population, and its impact on people's lives can be significant, limiting their travel and leisure opportunities. The psychological phenomenon known as the call of the abyss refers to a fleeting desire to jump off a cliff or into deep water, which some people may experience in such situations. This paradoxical impulse arises in psychologically healthy individuals and is linked to neurophysiological mechanisms that are activated in conditions of high functional anxiety. Research indicates that during moments of stress or intense emotional tension, the brain may generate such thoughts as a way to cope with a situation that induces fear. This phenomenon is often seen as an expression of an internal struggle between the instinct for self-preservation and the desire to escape the pressure caused by fear. In maritime literature, for instance, in the works of Herman Melville and Joseph Conrad, this phenomenon is reflected when characters feel drawn to the vastness of the watery abyss. Melville, in his novel Moby Dick, describes such moments when characters confront the might of the ocean and feel an irresistible urge to succumb to it, even while acknowledging the danger. Conrad also touches on this theme, especially in Heart of Darkness, where the boundary between life and death becomes blurred. Studies show that the phenomenon of the call of the abyss is not rare. Approximately 40% of people admit to having experienced such thoughts at least once in their lives. This suggests that such an experience is a part of human nature. Psychologists believe that this is related to the fact that in moments of intense stress or anxiety, our psyche may seek an outlet through extreme solutions. This phenomenon is also studied in the context of various cultural and philosophical traditions, where it may be perceived as a symbol of internal struggle and a desire for freedom, even if this desire is potentially dangerous. Seasickness of the mind is a unique psychological phenomenon that affects sailors after prolonged periods at sea. This state of perception is linked to sensory adaptation to the constant motion and oscillations that become part of the daily life of sailors. When they spend months or even years on a ship, their brain adapts to the new conditions. The constant rolling, the sound of waves, and the wind create a certain rhythm of life where every sound and movement is taken for granted. However, when sailors return to land, their nervous system encounters a sharp change: the absence of oscillations, silence, and the static nature of the environment. This leads to difficulties in readaptation, making ordinary sounds and movements seem unfamiliar and even causing discomfort. Historical accounts of this condition can be found in sailors' logs, where they describe their feelings after long voyages. For instance, Captain James Cook, in his journals, mentioned how, upon returning to shore, he had difficulty perceiving familiar earthly sounds and felt out of place. Modern neuropsychological research confirms this phenomenon, showing changes in neural connections and perception in people who have spent a long time at sea. These studies indicate that sailors can develop a unique psychology, distinct from that of land dwellers, where a sense of freedom and dependence on the elements becomes part of their identity. The ability to adapt to maritime conditions influences the formation of their character and perception of the world, creating a unique community of people for whom the sea is not just a place of work, but an integral part of their lives. In world mythology, the ocean is a multifaceted and layered symbol that intertwines images of life and chaos. It serves as a boundary between the known and the unknown, a place where the human world intersects with the world of spirits and supernatural beings. In various traditions, the ocean is not only a source of life, providing food and resources, but also a symbol of danger and uncontrollable forces that can suddenly overwhelm people. Myths of great floods, sea monsters, and divine beings dwelling in the depths create an atmosphere of mystery and fear of the boundless waters. The ocean is often depicted as a living entity that can bestow a blessing or a curse, depending on how people treat it. Its waves can be either calm and peaceful or tumultuous and destructive, symbolizing the capriciousness of fate and the unpredictability of life. Additionally, the ocean serves as a link between different worlds: the world of humans, the world of spirits, and the realm of the dead. This space where boundaries blur and the laws of physics and time cease to apply. The ocean becomes a metaphor for the human psyche, where emotions, fears, and hopes collide, reflecting the complexity of human nature and our relationship with the world around us. In this context, it is not just a backdrop for mythological tales, but an active participant in events capable of altering the course of history. Ultimately, this universal mythological symbol underscores the importance of water as a source of life and a force that must be reckoned with, making the ocean an integral part of human mythology. In myths and legends, the ocean often serves as a place where encounters with the divine occur, further enhancing its significance as a boundary between worlds. Poseidon, known as Neptune in Roman mythology, is one of the most powerful and significant gods associated with the ocean and sea. He is often depicted with a trident, which symbolizes his power over waters and storms. This trident serves not only as a weapon, but also as a tool with which he can cause earthquakes, underscoring his role as a god not only of the seas, but also of the land. Poseidon is also frequently depicted riding a chariot drawn by hippocamps, mythical sea horses, which adds an element of grandeur and power to his image. His character fluctuates between anger and benevolence. He could be a protector of sailors, but also a vengeful deity if not properly venerated. In myths, Poseidon displays both noble traits and caprices, such as his love for Aphrodite, but is also known for his rivalry with Athena over the patronage of Athens, which resulted in the creation of the olive tree, a symbol of the city. The cult of Poseidon was widespread in ancient Greece, particularly in places like Corinth and on the island of Delos, where temples were built in his honor. These temples served as places of worship and sacrifice, highlighting the importance of this deity in the daily lives of the Greeks. In Roman culture, Neptune became no less significant, with his cult developing further and associating him not only with the sea but also with the abundance of water, as evidenced by preserved images in Roman mosaics and sculptures. The evolution of Poseidon's image in European culture continued through the centuries, with him often being depicted in Renaissance art, where he became a symbol of the power of nature and greatness. In works by artists such as Botticelli and Titian, Poseidon embodies not only physical strength but also emotional depth, reflecting the complex relationships between humans and the sea. In art and literature, he continues to be a powerful symbol, representing both the destructive and creative forces of water. Notably, Poseidon has also become a part of many modern interpretations, from literary characters to films, which confirms his enduring presence in the collective consciousness. In Japanese mythology, the sea deity Ryujin, also known as Watatsumi, plays a significant role. He is depicted as a dragon ruling over an underwater palace called Ryujin-kyo, a magical place where sea spirits and creatures reside. Legends say that Ryujin possesses a precious pearl that controls the tides, ensuring safe passage for sailors across the ocean. This pearl is not just a symbol of power, but also a representation of life and abundance in the depths of the sea. In the myths surrounding Ryujin, his daughters are often mentioned, who frequently marry mortal men, symbolizing the connection between the human world and the spiritual realm. For instance, one of his daughters, named Tadajima, was married to a hero who eventually became the founder of an ancient Japanese clan. Worship of Ryujin among fishermen and sailors was conducted through special rituals, often involving sacrifices and prayers for a successful catch and protection from storms. These ceremonies emphasize the importance of the sea in Japanese life and their dependence on its generosity. In Japanese art and literature, Ryujin also holds a prominent place. Artists depict him as magnificent dragons winding through waves, while poets describe his grandeur and strength. One of the well-known works featuring Ryujin is Neon Shoki, where his image is closely linked to the myths of Japan's creation and its people. In Japanese culture, Ryujin has become a symbol not only of the sea, but also of the power of nature, which can bestow life as well as take it away at any moment. The Polynesian ocean god Tangaroa plays a crucial role in the cosmogonic myths of Polynesia, where he is considered one of the primary creators of the world. Different versions of his origin exist across various islands. On some islands, he is described as the son of the sky god, while on others, he is considered the brother of the forest god Tane. Legends recount their constant conflicts, where Tangaroa, representing the sea, and Tane, symbolizing the forest, vie for influence. These contradictions often lead to the creation of new lands and the formation of ecosystems. Tangaroa is also closely associated with fishing and navigation, as Polynesians believe he ensures an abundance of fish and favorable conditions for ocean travel. Rituals dedicated to Tangaroa include sacrifices and special prayers performed before setting sail. There are strict taboos related to his veneration. For example, fishing is prohibited on certain days to avoid angering the god and causing his displeasure. These traditions emphasize the importance of Tangaroa for the survival and prosperity of the peoples of the Pacific, who depend on marine resources. In Polynesian culture, Tangaroa symbolizes not only the power of the ocean but also the deep connection between humans and nature, as reflected in their myths and rituals. In Scandinavian mythology, Aegir, the sea giant, embodies the very essence of the ocean, while his wife Ran symbolizes its mysterious and perilous depths. Their palace, situated at the bottom of the sea, is described as a magnificent structure built of gold and precious stones, where they often entertained gods and heroes. Aegir hosted grand feasts, at which dishes were served, and self-luminous golden objects created an atmosphere of magic and mystery. One of the most striking features of Ran is her net, with which she ensnared drowning sailors, drawing them into her underwater domains. This net, like a web of fate, symbolizes both the ocean's generosity and its deadly nature. Aegir and Ran had 9 daughters, each representing different aspects of ocean waves, from calm and gentle to stormy and destructive. These daughters also played significant roles in the myths, symbolizing the ocean's capriciousness, its ability to give life and take it away. Thus, Aegir and Ran represent the dual nature of the ocean, where life and death intertwine in a constant dance, making them central figures in Scandinavian mythology. A crucial element of their mythology is the ongoing struggle between life and death, which the ocean embodies, and this theme permeates many Scandinavian legends. The ocean in literature and art often serves as a universal symbol that reflects human experiences and emotions. It embodies boundless possibilities, mysteries, and unexplored horizons, inspiring writers, artists, composers, and filmmakers to create unique works. The sea can be both serene and calming or tumultuous and threatening, making it an ideal backdrop for expressing internal conflict. Its waves conceal dreams and fears, while its vast expanses symbolize freedom and adventure. The ocean also serves as a metaphor for life. Its tides and ebbs reflect the cyclical nature of human existence, constantly reminding us that each moment can be both joyful and tragic. This image of the sea permeates all cultures, as it has always been a source of life and inspiration, driving people to explore, understand, and create. Throughout different epochs, the ocean has become a symbol not only of external journeys but also of internal searches, reflecting humanity's quest for self-knowledge and its place in the world. The multifaceted nature of the ocean makes it an eternal source of artistic inspiration, allowing each generation to interpret it in its own way. Among numerous cultural contexts, the ocean continues to be a significant theme that attracts the attention of masters of words and brush, who strive to convey its majesty and mystery. Artists capture its colors and forms. Composers create melodies that evoke associations with its noise and tranquility. In cinema, the ocean often takes center stage, creating an atmosphere in which human dramas and comedies unfold. In this diversity, the ocean is not just a backdrop but an active participant in events, shaping the fates of characters and emphasizing the significance of their choices. This nature of the ocean as a symbol continues to inspire creators, allowing them to produce works that resonate with the deepest chords of the human soul. The ocean will always be a place where dreams and reality meet, where each can find excitement or peace, making it one of the most powerful artistic symbols of all time. Moby Dick by Herman Melville is a classic work that deeply explores the relationship between man and the sea through the prism of Captain Ahab's obsession. The white whale, symbolizing not only the invincible power of nature but also Ahab's personal demons, becomes the center of the narrative, around which philosophical musings on life and death, the nature of evil, and human destiny revolve. Ahab, driven by vengeance, embodies a passion that leads him to self-destruction. Melville creates an encyclopedic text about the whaling industry, including detailed descriptions not only of whale hunting but also of the lives of whalers, their customs, and beliefs. This novel can be seen as a metaphor for humanity's struggle against the inevitable, the forces of nature that resist control. Melville uses the maritime environment to investigate moral and existential questions, compelling the reader to ponder humanity's place in a world filled with chaos and unpredictability. The influence of Moby Dick on literature and culture is immeasurable. This novel has inspired countless authors, from Ernest Hemingway to contemporary art, where the theme of man's struggle against nature remains relevant. The work has become foundational for the development of symbolism in literature, and the white whale has become an icon not only in literary but also in cultural contexts, embodying humanity's quest for self-understanding and comprehension of the world around us. Thus, Moby Dick serves not only as a literary masterpiece but also as a profound philosophical inquiry, making it relevant across generations. The novel also contains elements of adventure literature, where each character, from the loyal Ishmael to the enigmatic Queequeg, offers a unique perspective on human nature. William Turner is one of the most influential artists working in the genre of marine painting, who successfully revolutionized the approach to depicting the sea. His paintings capture not only realistic ships and landscapes, but also the power and beauty of the ocean. Turner blurred the boundaries between realism and abstraction, creating compositions where the element becomes the main protagonist. His famous technique of light transmission often used vivid, saturated colors, creating an effect of radiance and mystery. For example, in the painting Rain, Steam, and Speed, he masterfully conveyed the movement and atmosphere of a stormy sea, where the ship seems almost ghostly against the clouds racing towards the horizon. Another outstanding work is The Stormy Sea, where Turner depicted a dramatic scene of a shipwreck, using sharp contrast of light and shadow to emphasize the chaos and power of the natural element. His paintings dedicated to naval battles, such as the Battle of Trafalgar, demonstrate not only technical skill but also deep emotional impact, conveying the tension and drama of a naval battle. Turner had a significant influence on the development of Impressionism, inspiring artists like Claude Monet, and his approach to light and color became the foundation for new artistic directions. In his works, the sea acquires almost mythical significance, reflecting both human inner experiences and the grandeur of nature, making them relevant even in contemporary art. Claude Debussy's symphonic suite, The Sea, composed in 1913, is one of the most brilliant works of Impressionism in music. The suite consists of 3 parts, From Dawn to Noon on the Sea, The Play of the Waves, and Dialogue Between the Wind and the Sea. The first part opens with tender and smooth melodies that convey the feeling of morning light and tranquility. In this section, Debussy employs unusual harmonies and chords, creating a sense of layered sounds that allow the listener to feel the sea awakening. The second part, The Play of the Waves, is filled with dynamic and energetic rhythms, where Debussy masterfully uses string and wind instruments to depict the movement of the waves. Here, sharp contrasts appear, reflecting the tumultuous moments of the sea. The third part, Dialogue Between the Wind and the Sea, concludes the suite with a more philosophical tone. In this section, the composer uses chromatic melodies and complex rhythmic structures to create a sense of interaction between the wind and the sea. In the Sea, Debussy employs innovative techniques such as expanded chords and unusual instrument combinations, which help convey the beauty and power of the sea. The story of the suite's creation is also intriguing. The inspiration came to the composer during his trip to the French coast, where he observed the play of light on the water and the changes in the sounds of nature. The influence of the sea on 20th century music is difficult to overestimate. Many composers, such as Martinu, Stravinsky, and Prokofiev, drew inspiration from its unique musical solutions and impressionistic sound. The sea became a symbol of a new approach to music, where the main goal was to convey not the plot, but the atmosphere and emotions, which forever changed the musical landscape. In Japanese ukiyo-e prints, particularly in the works of Katsushika Hokusai and Utagawa Hirashigi, the ocean is depicted as a remarkable fusion of technical skill and profound symbolism. In his renowned series 36 Views of Mount Fuji, Hokusai created one of the most famous images of the sea, the Great Wave off Kanagawa. This work stands out with its striking contrast between the mighty wave and the majestic Mount Fuji in the background. Hokusai employed techniques such as smooth lines and emphasis on the texture of water to convey the movement and power of the ocean. In his prints, water is not merely a backdrop but a living entity, full of emotions and strength. Utagawa Hirashigi, on the other hand, also masterfully depicted the sea, using softer and more harmonious forms to create a sense of tranquility and serenity. In his works, the ocean often symbolized not only a physical boundary, but also a spiritual path, reflecting Japanese philosophy on the unity of man and nature. These prints had a profound influence on European art, inspiring masters such as Vincent van Gogh and Claude Monet, who explored light and movement in their works, as the Japanese artists did. In contemporary visual art, these images continue to live on, inspiring designers and artists worldwide who draw elements from Japanese aesthetics. For instance, the use of vibrant colors and dynamic forms can be seen in the works of modern illustrators and animators, demonstrating how historical heritage continues to influence the present. Thus, Japanese ukiyo-e prints not only reflect the sea, they capture its essence, conveying an endless flow of life and emotions. The ocean is not just a vast body of water, but a majestic and mysterious world that covers more than 70% of our planet's surface. It represents the last great frontier of Earth, which remains largely unexplored and full of mysteries. Modern science faces numerous challenges in studying the ocean, requiring a multidisciplinary approach that combines oceanography, biology, geology, and climatology. Tectonic processes, the interaction of the ocean with the atmosphere, and the impact of human activity on marine ecosystems all necessitate the use of advanced technologies. Satellites, autonomous underwater vehicles, and monitoring systems help scientists collect data from great depths and study how the ocean influences climate change and its potential consequences for humanity. We stand at the threshold of new discoveries that could revolutionize our understanding of life on Earth. The ocean not only harbors a multitude of species and ecosystems, but also plays a crucial role in regulating climate processes, affecting weather and ecosystems even in the most remote corners of the planet. Each new study reveals another page in this complex book, which records not only facts about marine life, but also the future of our world. Studying the ocean is a constant journey forward, where each wave brings new knowledge and understanding, highlighting how fragile and vulnerable this wealth is. For instance, in one of the studied regions, the Mariana Trench, the depth reaches 10,900 meters, making it the deepest point on the planet. The ARGEO project is a global network of autonomous floating buoys designed for monitoring the world ocean. These devices dive to depths of up to 2,000 meters, where they periodically collect data on water temperature and salinity. Each buoy performs such a dive every 10 days, then resurfaces and transmits the collected data via satellites. Currently, the project operates around 4,000 buoys that cover almost all oceans, including remote areas where traditional research is challenging. ARGEO buoys measure not only temperature and salinity but also other parameters such as water pressure and density, enabling scientists to more accurately analyze ocean conditions. The contribution of the project to understanding climate change and ocean circulation is invaluable. Data collected by the buoys help predict climate changes and study the impact of human activity on ocean ecosystems. All collected data is available in open access for scientists worldwide, fostering international cooperation in oceanography and climatology. This access to information allows scientists to quickly respond to changes and make predictions based on real data, rather than theoretical models. The Seabed 2030 project is one of the most ambitious and extensive initiatives in the field of oceanography, aimed at fully mapping the ocean floor by 2030. As of 2022, approximately 20% of the work has been completed, highlighting the immense scale of the task. The project is based on modern multi-beam echo sounding technologies, which enable the collection of highly accurate data on the topography of the ocean floor. These echo sounders use multiple sound beams directed at the seabed, allowing for the creation of detailed maps with resolutions of several centimeters. The project is actively supported by international cooperation involving both governmental institutions and private companies. Commercial vessels and yachts play a crucial role in data collection, using their navigation systems to supplement existing maps. This collaboration significantly increases the volume of collected information, as such vessels regularly traverse various ocean areas. The importance of the Seabed 2030 project is difficult to overstate. A complete mapping of the ocean floor is essential for safe navigation, laying underwater cables and pipelines, and studying geological processes such as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Furthermore, a comprehensive understanding of the ocean floor is crucial for protecting marine ecosystems, as it helps identify vulnerable areas and prevent ecological disasters. For instance, data on the seabed's topography can aid in developing strategies for the conservation of marine reserves and the restoration of damaged ecosystems. Modern research into deep-sea ecosystems around hydrothermal vents continues to reveal new frontiers in biology and ecology. In 1977, scientists discovered these oases of life on the ocean floor when the research vessel Alvin explored the area around Rio Grande Island in the Pacific Ocean. Hydrothermal vents are places where hot water, rich in minerals and nutrients, rises from the Earth's crust. Unlike typical ecosystems that rely on photosynthesis, organisms in these conditions use chemosynthesis. Bacteria that oxidize hydrogen sulfide serve as a source of energy for entire communities. These extremophile organisms, such as black smokers, can survive in toxic environments with high sulfur content and temperatures reaching 300 degrees Celsius. The unique biology of these organisms, their adaptations, and food chains provide valuable insights into how life can develop in extreme conditions. Research on hydrothermal vents not only deepens our understanding of biological processes on Earth, but also raises important questions about the possibility of life on other planets, such as Europa, a moon of Jupiter, where a subsurface ocean with similar conditions is believed to exist. Scientific expeditions conducted in recent decades have yielded extensive data on the diversity of species, including giant tube worms, mollusks, and crustaceans that inhabit these vents, as well as complex ecosystems that form as a result of their interactions. It is important to note that these studies not only expand the boundaries of our scientific knowledge, but also emphasize the need to protect unique ecosystems that could be lost due to human activity. Ocean acidification is a serious problem that arises from the absorption of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. When carbon dioxide dissolves in seawater, it forms carbonic acid, which then dissociates into bicarbonate and hydrogen ions, lowering the pH of the water. This process makes the water more acidic, which negatively impacts marine organisms with calcium shells and skeletons, such as mollusks, sea urchins, and corals. For example, corals that build their reefs from calcium start to face difficulties in forming their structures, leading to the destruction of coral reefs. This, in turn, has catastrophic consequences for ecosystems, as reefs serve as homes for a multitude of marine species and are a crucial part of the food chain. Studies indicate that by the year 2030, the pH of the ocean could decrease by 0.3 units, significantly weakening the health of marine ecosystems. To monitor this process, various methods are employed, including automatic buoys that measure pH and water temperature, as well as satellite technologies that allow tracking changes on a large scale. Scientists predict that ocean acidification could lead to a decline in fish populations, affecting fisheries and food security, as billions of people rely on seafood as a primary source of nutrition. It is important to note that changes in pH also affect the ocean's ability to absorb carbon dioxide, creating a vicious cycle that can exacerbate the consequences of global warming. The future of oceanography and marine research promises to be a true revolution, where various sciences, cultures, and nations unite to tackle the most complex challenges facing humanity. We stand on the threshold of a new era, where ocean research transcends traditional methods and becomes more comprehensive through a multidisciplinary approach. This means that ecologists, biologists, geologists, and even social scientists will work together to understand not only the physics and chemistry of the oceans, but also their role in human life. Global cooperation will be a key element, enabling countries to combine their efforts in combating climate change and its impact on marine ecosystems. This cooperation will also open access to knowledge and resources currently unavailable to individual researchers or countries. Scientists will be able to use data from different parts of the world, creating global observation networks that will help monitor changes in ocean conditions in real time. It is expected that new approaches in oceanography will allow us to gain a deeper understanding of phenomena such as marine animal migration, the spread of pollutants, and the state of coral reefs. Special attention will be paid to practical issues related to fisheries, biodiversity conservation, and the impact of tourism on marine ecosystems. With each passing year, we will see how new data and research reveal facts about how the ocean functions and influences Earth's climate. Scientists are already working on creating models that will help predict how various factors can change ecosystems, and this knowledge will be the cornerstone for future research. Scientific communities will strive for more transparent information exchange, ensuring that everyone has access to the latest data and findings. This new era of oceanography will be possible because countries will recognize the importance of oceans and their impact on our existence and future. In the coming decades, we can expect to see numerous new discoveries that will change our understanding of the oceans and help solve critical issues such as food security and marine environment protection. In this context, it is important to understand that oceanography and marine research will not just be a science, but a vital necessity for all of humanity. Scientific expeditions previously focused on data collection will now be directed towards solving specific tasks. In this context, the question of how we can preserve this invaluable resource for future generations will become increasingly important. The issue of preserving oceans has become particularly pressing in light of the development of technologies such as artificial intelligence and machine learning. These tools open up new horizons for oceanography, enabling the analysis of vast amounts of data collected by various sensors. For instance, modern systems can process data on water temperature, salinity, and oxygen levels at high speeds and with great accuracy, helping researchers identify trends and anomalies. Artificial intelligence is also used for recognizing marine animal species from images and sounds, significantly simplifying ecosystem monitoring. Deep learning algorithms allow scientists to identify, classify, and track populations of various species, from whales to microscopic algae. Furthermore, machine learning is employed to model oceanic processes such as current movements, tides, and surges, which is crucial for understanding ecosystem resilience to changes. Weather and climate change forecasting has become more accurate due to the processing of large data volumes, enabling early assessments of the impact of climate phenomena on the marine environment. The implementation of automated systems for controlling research submersibles equipped with AI allows for research in remote and inaccessible ocean areas where human intervention is challenging. These submersibles can autonomously collect data, conduct experiments, and even interact with the marine environment without constant human supervision. Consequently, technologies of artificial intelligence and machine learning are becoming key tools in the fight to preserve oceans and their biological diversity. Currently, there are approximately 12,000 known fish species in the oceans. The concept of the digital twin of the ocean is a detailed computer model that enables the simulation and analysis of all oceanic processes. The European project Destination Earth, initiated by the European Union, is actively working on the creation of such a model. This project integrates data from numerous sources, including satellites, buoys, and underwater sensors. This approach allows researchers to obtain real-time information about the state of the oceans, significantly improving data quality. The modeling covers a wide range of phenomena, from local changes such as water temperature fluctuations to global processes, such as the impact of climate change on sea level and marine ecosystems. The digital twin of the ocean can predict natural disasters such as hurricanes and floods, enabling proactive measures to protect coastal communities. Moreover, such a model can be used for managing fisheries, helping to predict fish migration and optimize fishing practices, which is crucial for the sustainable use of ocean resources. It is important to note that the integration of data from different sources allows for more accurate forecasts and a better understanding of the complex interactions in the oceans, which is of great importance for scientific research and marine planning. Biomimicry in marine technologies is actively utilized for the development of robots and devices that mimic the behavior of marine animals. For instance, scientists have created robotic fish that can move with high maneuverability, significantly outperforming traditional submersibles. These robots can swim like real fish, using specialized mechanisms that allow them to adapt to various underwater conditions. They can explore hard-to-reach places such as deep ocean trenches or flooded caves, where conventional submersibles cannot function due to size and maneuverability limitations. Additionally, jellyfish-like robots have been developed that move almost silently, making them ideal for environmental monitoring. These devices can collect data on water quality, temperature, and pollution levels without disturbing the ecosystem. It is also worth mentioning octopus-like robots that can change shape and adapt to various conditions, opening new horizons in marine life research. The ability to create entire schools of such robots allows for large-scale data collection, which can help in studying fish migration, monitoring coral reefs, and even searching for sunken objects. These technologies not only demonstrate how nature can inspire innovation, but also open new prospects for sustainable ocean use. Developing such robots requires advanced technologies and deep knowledge in biology, engineering, and ecology, making this process complex and multifaceted. The establishment of permanent underwater research stations opens up numerous prospects for science and technology. One of the most well-known projects inspired by the works of Stanislav Lem is Proteus, which represents a concept of an underwater base where people can live for extended periods, studying the depths of the ocean. Technical solutions for long-term underwater habitation include the use of hermetically sealed domes that provide the necessary atmosphere and protection from pressure, as well as life support systems that allow for the recycling of air and water. These stations can serve as laboratories for studying deep-sea ecosystems, which are home to unique organisms not found on the surface. Unlike short-term expeditions, which are limited by time and resources, permanent stations will enable long-term research, analyzing changes in ecosystems, and tracking the effects of climate change. Furthermore, such bases can become centers for education and the popularization of science, drawing attention to the issues of ocean conservation and ecology. Comparing it with the development of orbital space stations is also appropriate. Just as in space, studying the ocean requires complex infrastructure, reliable technologies, and continuous human presence to achieve significant results. Underwater research stations can not only deepen our knowledge of marine ecosystems, but also serve as a model for future ocean exploration projects. In such conditions, new types of experiments will be possible, which cannot be conducted on the surface, such as studying biochemical reactions under high pressure. Moreover, considering that marine resources are becoming increasingly important for humanity, these stations can play a crucial role in ensuring the sustainable use of oceanic riches. This includes fish stocks, mineral resources, and even opportunities for biomedicine research, opening doors to new medical discoveries. As a result, permanent underwater research stations can become a significant step in the study and protection of our oceans, expanding the horizons of scientific knowledge and technology. Architectural solutions for such stations, inspired by principles used in cosmonautics, will help ensure the safety and comfort of researchers, making their work more productive. Marine depths, which remain a mystery to humanity, evoke both awe and respect. The ocean is not just a smooth expanse of water, it is the cradle of life, where billions of creatures have originated. Yet, it is also an untamed force capable of devastating hurricanes and waves that can consume everything in their path. On one hand, we explore it to extract resources like fish and minerals. On the other hand, it holds secrets that we can only guess at. Each expedition into the ocean's depths reveals new horizons of knowledge, but also underscores how little we know about its true nature. The ocean has become a cultural symbol, embodying the boundlessness of human aspirations and dreams. It teaches us humility before the forces of nature, inspires new discoveries, and urges us to seek answers to questions that may never be fully resolved. The soft whisper of waves, carrying echoes of ancient mariners and forgotten civilizations, reminds us that even in our advanced world, there are places yet to be explored. Embracing the dual nature of the sea, we understand that it remains a source of inspiration for many generations. The soothing sound of unseen waves, as if guarding our dreams, includes those that pertain to the great mysteries hidden beneath its surface.